Let me start here with Dave. Can you explain to the audience who you are and why you are qualified to have this conversation?
I feel like my qualifications are I'm a foundational Black American, 22-time best-selling author, radio broadcast professional, husband, father, and liver of the Black experience for the past 5 decades. You know, I don't think I need a doctorate, but I got a couple degrees. You know, okay. It's all right. Aside from that, I've been living, baby.
Okay.
Let's go.
And Frank, can you let the audience know who you are and why you are qualified to have this conversation?
My name is Franck Zanu, of course, from Benin Republic, West Africa.
He needed to say I am a tethers. So because I am a tethers, I am the perfect person to talk about this because I am a tethers. That's all he should say.
I've lived in about 9 African countries. I was trained to be a journalist, so I've been a reporter for the Washington Times for 13 years. That allowed me to live in Asia, Europe, Africa. And so and now, of course, I live in the United States of America. So I have a link. It seems to be the only bridge who can compare what I know from where I came from and then seeing people that we're taking from that place now. So I can look at the two and be able to spell out the similarities and what the root cause of some of the problems are.
The first topic I want to get into is, how do you define culture? And under your definition, do Black Americans have a unique culture? Let me start here with Frank.
Well, I'm glad you used the word unique culture. So yes, I'm sure you all saw the episode, that got everybody on my case, except this gentleman who was the only one brave enough to say, well, look, before I cut him into pieces, let me give him a chance to come into the studio and explain, to the audience.
Yeah.
So
Real quick, before we get into this, let's do this. So the question was asked, how do we define culture, right? Now, this is the issue that I have with the way that he framed the question. Not him, the dude who asked the question, but the way that he framed it. He framed the question as if you can have your own definition of culture. There is only one definition of the word culture. And let's read the definition. The first definition. Well, there's multiple definitions, but I'm saying, y'all see what I'm about to say. It says, number 1, and this is from the Oxford Dictionary, right? The arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. That's the first definition of culture. The second definition of culture: the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. I'm going to read these 2 definitions again. Culture, noun. And again, this is from the Oxford Dictionary. This is just Google. The arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Definition 2. The customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. So when you ask the question, how do you define culture? And let's go back to make sure that's exactly what he said. I want to make sure.
Culture. So yeah.
Culture. Let me start here with, under your definition, do Black Americans have a unique culture? Let me start here with Frank.
So this is the problem with that. There is no under your definition. So you can't say your definition of this word is whatever you say it is. So if I say the definition of a piece of pizza is a frog, that doesn't make any sense because there's only one definition of this, or there's only one definition of the word lie. Let's use a better word, lie. The definition of lie. You can't say, well, what's your definition of lie? How do you define lie? There is no my definition, your definition. That's that delusional egalitarianism. The truth is the truth. Black is white. So you can't change the definition of words. So I don't like the framing of the question because it gives leeway to be able to change the definition of words, right? So now that everybody in this live, we have it established that the definition of culture is this. This is the definition of culture, right? So I just want to make sure that we understand that before we even get into this. This is the definition of culture, and there is no other definition of culture. You cannot change the definition of words because then we are arguing from a subjective perspective and not an objective perspective. And you can't make this conversation about culture and define it from a subjective place when there's only one definition of it. That's the point that I'm making. So let's keep going. Just want to put that out there. So now everybody, including myself, knows the definition of culture. Now let's go.
Definition: do Black Americans have a unique culture? Let me start here with Frank.
Well, I'm glad you used the word unique culture. So yes, I'm sure you all saw the episode, that got everybody on my case, except this gentleman who was the only one brave enough to say, well, look, before I cut him into pieces, let me give him a chance to come into the studio and explain, to the audience.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. People say, oh, you're from Benin. And I'll say, yes. And they say, what's Benin culture like? And then I freeze. Because there's nothing like a Benin culture. Or if you're from Ghana, or if you're from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, there is no such thing. But if you say, oh, you are Yoruba, he said, yes. What is Yoruba culture like? Then he or she is able to start to talk about it. So there are similarities which I'm going to really explain, and you can see it. So I'm first going to ask, he's been on my show. He's seen my thing. I do not put together that show, which I fund from my own pocket because I just want to say things to make people angry. No, it's because I really care. And sometimes I get frustrated about what I have seen from the continent where I come from and what I see here about my great-great-great-grandfathers, uncles, sisters who were taken away. So African Americans would say, well, you're not one uncle. Yes, I know, but I'm walking past my cousin, my nieces every day. So what is in my head is what is in their head.
So his cousins and nieces are Black Americans? No, it's not. And notice he said people being taken away. Black Americans weren't taken away. Some Black Americans have African DNA or African, lineage within them. A lot of us don't have that. So when you say taken away, you're assuming that all of us come from Africa when all of us do not come from Africa. So he still has the colonized, the mentality that, all the Black Americans just came somewhere from Africa, likely West Africa. That's what he believes. And this is where, this is where since the foundation is messed up already in your thinking, everything that you say after that is now going to be just invalid because your foundation, we haven't come to a conclusion of what the thing is. So that's why you notice when I first started the live and I talked about culture, if we're going to talk about culture, then first, since the question was asked, how do we define it? I'm giving the actual definition of culture. So we need to have a straight, firm definition of what we are now arguing. But if we don't have a firm definition of what we're arguing, then everything is going to be invalid at that point. So he believes that all Black Americans just come from Africa, and that is incorrect. Let's keep going.
And what I'm explaining is something that they must listen to. When I say there is no such thing as African American culture, they're like, what do you mean? Well, culture for me is not dance, food, clothing. Those are not cultures.
Notice again, he says culture for me. This is no disrespect to the ladies, right? I'm not going to, I got to say what I got to say though. This is how women sometimes talk when they say, well, I feel like. You ever notice that? A lot of guys do it too, but this is a I feel like type of response. Culture for me. What do you mean culture for me? There's only one definition of culture. You can't say, well, what it means to me or for me that's delusional. There is a black and white definition of this word. So you have to debate that. So we already, just off the rip, right? This is about to be a 2-hour conversation that they're about to have. Already we already off frame because of the way that he's speaking and the way the question was actually presented. So we already off frame. Let's keep going.
Culture is a worldview. The worldview is what drives people. Their relationship to wealth, to money, to community, to marriage, to family. It's the worldview they have. That's the foundation of a
Tell me where it says worldview here.
Culture. And number 2, there is no possibility for you to have a culture without having a language. So if you read most of the books written by brilliant African Americans, the first thing you see, the headline is, the traumatic thing about slavery is not merely changing your environment.
Cyberdyne, I'm probably messing your name up. Cyberdean 100. Thank you for the $30 donation. I appreciate you for the support and for the love. Thank y'all. Thank you for the $30 donation. That put us at 90 already, man. I love y'all so much. Goodness gracious. That put us at 90 already. Thank you, Cyberdyne. Thank you, Cyberdean. I'm probably messing your name up. Thank you, Cyberdean 100. Thank you for the $30 donation. WC in the chat. Thank you,
The traumatic thing about slavery is not merely asking you to work long hours. The Russians had hard labor camps in Siberia. Many countries, Japanese had it, where people work and they die. The traumatic thing about slavery is one thing only, which everyone has written about. They took our language away. They took our culture away. They took our history and religion away.
real quick, I'm gonna speak on that too. So he says it's impossible to have a culture without a language. Well, Black Americans do have our own language, and we spoke about that yesterday if you were here in the chat. Language, let's look at the definition of language. Let's look at the definition of language. So this is where we had to see, if I was in here, right? If I was there, this is what I would have done. This is how I would have debated him. I would have debated him strictly off of facts. This is the definition of language because he says it's impossible to have a culture without language. Now let's talk about the definition of language. The principal method of human communication consisting of words used in a structured or conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, or gesture. So for example, a form of language would be if I'm talking to a Black American man and I dap you up like this and we pull each other in and we snap, that is a form of language because that is a gesture that we are using, right? Let's get to the second definition. A system of communication used by a particular country or community. Where in this conversation, or I'm sorry, not conversation, where in this definition does it say just words that you say that maybe somebody else would not say, or maybe they just don't know? Language is a form of communication. Black Americans, and I don't like to call it AAVE. A lot of people like to call it that. I like to call it BVA, which is Black, or BAV, Black American Vernacular, right? So this is, we have our own form of language, depending on where you at. If you're from Florida, you probably say jit, right? If you're from New Orleans, you probably say baby. You say baby, you say it like that, right? If you're from Chicago, you don't say car, you say kai, you say shorty, right? If you're from New York or something like that, you say certain things. If you're from LA, you say certain things. Like, depending on where you at in this country, where you're from, you have your own form of communication and language based on the community and the people that you live around. So for you to say to you, if you don't have a culture unless you have a language, and that just includes that. We didn't even talk about Tuttonese. Now, not everybody knows Tuttonese, but some people do. We haven't even spoken about Tuttonese. We haven't even spoken about that, right? So we do have a language and we do have a form of communication. You're just not educated on it, nor do you even care, because your worldview on your worldview, I ain't gonna say worldview, your definition of the term culture is incorrect, and your definition on the term language is incorrect. So we are already arguing off the rails. So Dave is basically debating somebody who is like, he's not even in the same stratosphere as Dave as far as intelligence, but he's not even in the same stratosphere of even understanding what he's even arguing, right? So this is what we about to, not Dave, I'm talking about the Frank dude, Frank Zanu. So he already off the rails because he has his own definition of words to be able to argue against that. That's the problem. Let's keep going.
That is a traumatic thing about being a slave. Now, if they took those things away, how and when were they recovered? So I met a gentleman. I was attending a conference in Singapore, and I met this gentleman who was a Korean sociologist. So we started talking during coffee, and I said, "Oh, I lived in Korea for 2 years when I was reporting." And he said, "Oh, wow!" And then we started talking. I don't remember how the conversation came about when he asked me. He said, "So your country was colonized?" I said, "Yes," and his country, Korea, was colonized by the Japanese for 49 years.
And there's nothing wrong with speaking English, by the way. English is our language. Thank you, Femi.
And he said, "What did you guys," meaning referring to people in Benin, "what did you lose as a result of colonization?" And I froze and I said, "Whoa, nobody has ever asked me that question." So I said, "Prof, you tell me, and that will give me some idea." And he said, "No, we're Koreans, were colonized by the Japanese. So when they left, all we lost was time. We just went back being Koreans." And from that day, I could tell clearly, what did we lose as a result of colonization in Africa? What did you lose as a result of slavery? If you don't fix that which you lost, you're not going to make any way forward. So in Africa, the countries that exist today were never there. They force a group of tribes that have their own distinct cultures to become a country. So they've lost their distinct cultures, trying to have a culture as a collective, which is never going to happen. So for me, first and foremost, when I talk about culture, I'm talking about a worldview, meaning the collective have to have one reason they are here on earth. And that thing is what drives them. It's
one of the most delusional talking points I've ever heard. So your definition of culture is a collective of people that all agree on one thing. I don't think there's ever been a point in history where there's been a big collective of people who all agreed on one thing, even if it's a worldview. everybody, maybe the majority of people, but not everybody. Everybody doesn't agree with the same thing. And we spoke about this earlier. I don't remember who said it. Somebody said it perfectly. If you notice, the thing that he's trying to define as culture, it has to be something that came from a long time ago. What he's talking about is something being primitive. What he's talking about as culture is walking around barefoot, putting a plate in your lip, taking goat's milk and cow dung and mixing it up and calling it a smoothie, taking cow poop and horse crap and building a hut, taking a damn tiger fur and landing on the ground and calling it a blanket. Like, that's what he thinks is culture. It has to be something that is either very barbaric and primitive, because he's used to his people not being civilized. Because by his logic, then he would claim that Japanese people don't have a culture. He would have to claim that South Korean people, Korean general, but South Koreans don't have a culture. He would have to say that all of these other places don't have a culture either. Because a lot of these other places were colonized as well, especially mindset colonized, especially the Asians. The Asians are one of the most mentally colonized people ever, because they just submit to white people all day, right? They don't have a history of oppression, right? They're very submissive. They want to be the model minority, whether they're in America or in their homeland. You got some Asians that don't rock with it, but you know, if anybody, so I guess they don't have a culture either. And I would completely disagree. I would say Asians, I think a lot of Asian countries have beautiful culture, especially Japan, especially China and Korea. I think some of their culture is beautiful. So they don't have a culture no more. You don't respect the new wave of what we have created from the bottom. That's the thing is, he doesn't respect that as being a true culture because it's new. Again, culture to him is somebody jumping off of a baboon with a freaking knife or a spear and being able to throw it 500 yards and hit somebody in the side of the eye, or being able to shoot a rod through a metal circle and being able to take out somebody's neck. Like, that's what he deems as culture. You got to be barbaric and primitive. You have to be like a tribal group of people. And unfortunately, Black Americans are civilized people. We civilized America, if you want to be honest. So he doesn't respect that. He doesn't think that that's culture. Let's keep going.
What makes them wage wars, conquer people, anything. You ask anybody, in 1884, it was the Irish journalist who finally found a word to describe the English man, which he called the manifest destiny. That exceptionalism of the Englishmen, now you call them Americans. The American exceptionalism is the American culture, that they believe that God put them on this earth to colonize and civilize others. And that's what drives them to go out there and try to give freedom and fight for freedom and do all the things they do. Now, good or bad, I'm not giving any value. You ask the Japanese, he will tell you their worldview. So their dance and food, and no, those are not. I came from a place where, as a young boy, I was given a worldview, and it guided me everywhere I went. So when you meet me outside my culture, you can tell from my behavior, he must come from a culture that believes in XYZ. So a culture becomes more pronounced when you are outside the group. As an individual, outside your group, people must be able to tell.
Okay. Dave, what is your rebuttal to that?
It's not so much a rebuttal, it's a difference in philosophy, right?
Mm.
It is, and I think we got to thank Frank for even coming here, because I know for some people, this would be very adversarial. Frank and I, we talk all the time. We're very, very good folk. And there's a couple of things that I got to push back on simply because they were not available to us. See, when Frank was born, he inherited a culture. We had to make one with what we had. Some of us, if I were to swab any one of you, you would find some Nigerian, you would find some Ghanaian. Like, we had to hodgepodge, not to mention, out of all of the places that Black people were forced into when we were slaves, 3% came to what we now consider the United States of America. And then we were bred over time. We were buck broken over time. They would take our women and grape them out of respect for your channel. You know what I'm saying? Drop the G. And then on top of that, they had a split breast system. And the split breast system means that one breast would feed the white children of the slave master, and the other one would feed the black children that were going to be bought off and sold. We also have a situation where we had to face things that no other black.
Real quick, I don't believe in that DNA stuff. I don't. It even says it in the fine print on a lot of those companies that is for entertainment purposes only. I don't believe them people, man. I generally don't believe them people when they say like, oh, you use your DNA test. This is like, I don't believe it, me personally.
Black person on the continent had to face, taking our children and feeding them to alligators, lynching, Jim Crow, all of those things. And when you look at it, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not, the pulse of America runs through foundational Black Americans. Who was the first person to die in the Revolutionary War? Crispus Attucks, Black man, foundational Black American. Right? Harriet Tubman made the Underground Railroad and stopped it in Philadelphia. There are all of these things that have happened that make it who we are. Now, as a person who was the first Black youth president of an organization called the National Conference of Christians and Jews, to Frank's point, I do agree, you don't really see your culture until you're out of it. So I'm a raisin and buttermilk in a conversation where there's a bunch of white Christians and a bunch of Jewish people, and they're like, hey, we do this. I'm like, no, Black people don't do that. You know what I'm saying? From the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we eat, the way we move. Not to mention, you can't go anywhere on this earth without seeing our influence. The problem is, unlike any other Black culture on the face of the planet, we have been colonized and monetized for profit by everyone, including the Koreans. K-pop ain't nothing but R&B. Let's call it what it is.
Ain't nothing but Michael Jackson. That's all K-pop is them Koreans trying to be like Michael Jackson.
And it's R&B under duress, because if you look at what happened with Megan Thee Stallion when she was dealing with those K-pop girls, she was like, oh, it's serious up in here. Because if they miss a step, they get what Joe Jackson gave Mike and them, but worse. There are all of these things that take place that no one wants to talk about. So no, we don't have a language because we weren't allowed to speak our language under penalty of death. When you talk about you can't come to the cookout and things of that nature, people forget. Picnic is an abbreviated slang term, which means you get to picking to lynch. Postcards came from pictures that they used to take the back of and mail for people who couldn't see the lynching that they had. All of these
Didn't know that.
things we survived. And the funny thing is, everyone's coming over here and benefiting from the fact that we put out the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. All of those things that started as the Black Liberation Movement, but then got shoehorned into civil rights because everybody wants to come off of our pain. It's still a part of who we are. American culture is Black culture. The problem is, not only did we have to create it, but everybody else got to monetize it. We don't own major forms of media. So the message that goes out to the world about foundational Black Americans is very lopsided. It's very negative. Even Frank said to Nancy, he said, well, what is your culture? Twerking? Negating the fact that twerking started in Africa. Mating rituals, things of that nature, tying of the hips, stop me when I go wrong. All of these things get put out as if that's who we are. And it's a very limited, very narrow-minded, very sore and very disingenuous snapshot of who we are, because we get put into killers, baby mamas, this and that and the other. And then when you look at how the media is weaponized, right? They'll take people throughout the diaspora and then put them on platforms and then bring them here. I'll give you an example. There's a show on CBS called Bob Hart's Abishola. And she said things that were much more incendiary than what Frank said. Oh, what is it? Gangbangers and baby mamas?
Crazy.
No. That energy is designed to keep us a certain way. And then when you talk about how the entertainment is weaponized, because that's the message, that's our largest export. It always has been. Our talent and our ability to entertain, but not capitalize on said entertainment. You can't point to one major Black-owned record company. You can't point to one major Black-owned media outlet. You can't point to one major media or technological distribution center that is controlled, owned, and managed by foundational Black Americans. And so the message...
Notice he said by foundational Black Americans. Notice that. Because you do have some of these media companies that are owned by, quote unquote, see, I'm putting the quotations, Black people. And a lot of times it's not actually us. World Star Hip Hop was owned by a Haitian. There's about 3 or 4 of these places, like the Shade Room, I think, is owned by a Caribbean woman. Like all of these so-called online media outlet pages, they're not even owned by us. They are owned by outsiders who just basically unfortunately just monetize our culture. So, don't get that mixed up. Well, I know they own so and so. Are they Black American? Probably not.
Of foundational Black Americans that gets out is not our message, and I completely reject that. If that's what you think the culture is, I am here to tell you that ain't my culture. It ain't never been my culture, and it ain't been the culture of most of my brethren. Do we have some knuckleheads? Absolutely. Of course we do. But do we also have things like COINTELPRO we've still had to overcome? Do we have things like the 94 Biden-Clinton crime bill that we've had to overcome? And throughout history, I have yet to see anybody from any of those 54 countries come back for their brothers that they say that they love so much. I don't remember the warships coming to get us. I don't. But what I do see is, oh, well, we're really good at educating. We take the opportunities and we're able to, go and take these American opportunities that you guys squander. Yeah, because you get an immigrant experience. You do not get the foundational Black American experience. You get the same immigrant talk that the Russians get. And the Russians got a lot of nerve because if it wasn't for Alexander Pushkin, they'd still be speaking French. Alexander Pushkin created the Russian language. He was a Black man. So when you talk about where we are and where we've been, you also have to talk about the mind screw, out of respect for your channel, that we have been put under. So no, we don't have an official language because we weren't allowed to have one. But still, if you look at AAVE, it's everywhere. And when it comes out of our mouth, it goes from the hood to the boardrooms to a billboard on Broadway or in Times Square. So we have culture, we have influence, and no, I'm not just talking about taking what's the word I'm looking for? Weeds and turning them into collard greens, or taking innards and turning them into chitterlings. I'm talking about the fact that we have persevered and we.
Ebony, thank you for the $10 donation. Shout out to Ebony. Put us at 100. Ebony, I appreciate you for the love and the support, Ebony. She says, keep shining, young brother. Salute. I got you, Ebony. I'm gonna make sure I keep doing that. Thank you for the donation, Ebony. I appreciate you, sweetheart.
We are the most copied individuals on the planet. So much
Thank
so,
you, Ebony.
if I'm wrong, please explain Akon to me. Please explain Burna Boy to me. They all do a variation of who we are. And I'm not just talking about music. I'm talking about the walk. I'm talking about the talk. I'm talking about the hairstyles. I'm talking about the innovation. Everything we do. We took a construction worker's boot and made it the hottest item for the past 40 years. Because everybody finds a way to profit off of what we create and then demonize us for creating it and then label us criminals, uneducated, unwilling. We don't care, but they don't talk about all the systemic things that have been set up and profited by people who want to keep us in a certain box. That doesn't mean we can't escape that box, but to act like we were not put under duress for what we had to put together as a culture when everybody else got to inherit it. And that includes Haitians, Jamaicans, everybody else got to be left alone so that they can develop. We didn't have that. And to this day, I have yet to meet one African, one Jamaican, one Caribbean, one Black person anywhere who comes into this country and has automatically ingrained in them before they start going, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, that they're afraid when the red and blue lights come on behind them when they're pulled over. And I get it, and I'm the son, brother, and nephew of cops. That's why I say, yes, we have a culture, but of course we don't have a language. But let's not be disingenuous and act like it doesn't matter, because it does. Because as foundational Black American goes, so goes everybody else in society.
So, Frank, let me ask you a question. If slavery erased our Black Americans' culture, what do you call what we built after slavery? What do you call that?
Well, you have to give me an example of what you mean by what we build. What are you referring to?
You tied culture back to African and something that you inherit, but you said that got erased during slavery. But we built something. Clearly, Black Americans have built throughout slavery and the culture that we have currently.
What I'm asking is, give me an example so I'll be able to respond to that particular thing.
Well, like things like gospel is something that we built after slavery.
Okay, this nigga said gospel. All right. The railroads, the Capitol building, the White House, modern civil rights, all of the inventions. Like, like, come on, man. The gospel music. I mean, that's a part of culture, but he could have went in and kind of said some more stuff. Gospel was like the last thing on the list that he could have mentioned.
Well, songs and music,
the foods that we eat, that we consume.
Sure, songs and music exist in every society.
Is that not a part of culture?
No.
Now again, he just asked him a question that said, "Is songs and music not a part of culture?" We went to the definition of culture: the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Definition 2: the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. Is music not art? Is music not a custom? So then that would go under the form of culture. So Frank is incorrect. Not surprised though.
Let me come to that. And first, let me make
real quick. Hey man, shout out to Dale for the $10 donation. Stay up, big dog. I got you, Dale. Thank you for the $10 donation. Carlette, thank you for the $20 donation. Congratulations on participating in Hill of Color 6. Carlette and Dale, I appreciate you. Thank you, Carlette. Thank y'all for the donations, y'all. We at 120 for the day. Quick, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for the donations. Thank y'all for the love and the support. I appreciate everybody in here. Keep showing love to the live. Y'all do know y'all can support through that link at the top, right? I mean, y'all can support however y'all want to, but the white chat at the white box at the top, y'all can support there too as well. Appreciate y'all. Let's keep going. Dale, I appreciate you, and Carlette, I appreciate you as well. Thank you.
a little response to David's assertion that we were not allowed. So in Benin or Ghana or Nigeria, you pick any of the 54 countries in Africa, right? If you had gone into a Yoruba tribe, which is now part of Nigeria, they would speak Yoruba. Now, when we were put together forcefully as countries, today, my nieces and nephews can't even speak my language properly.
Ebony said, I'm trying to give a donation, but it's not letting me. Can I support another way? And CEO. Yeah, when you say it's not letting you, what do you mean? Like, you trying to hit the link at the top and it's not letting you?
Adiana Robin at $20.
Adiana, thank you for the $20 donation. Adiana, thank you for the 20. I appreciate it. That put us at 140. Adiana, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Yeah, Ebony, I don't know why. It's working for everybody else. Again, if you want to hit the link at the top, you can support through there, or I have Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal, which is what a lot of people are supporting through. So, but I'm not, what are you trying to do where it's not working? How's it not working? Adiana, thank you for the $20 donation. Shout out to Adiana. Let me read some of these comments, y'all. Why is it that we are expected to prove something new in order to prove we have culture, and we're expected to rule a nation, even though we only make up 15% of a country? Damn, I just lost it. Where did it just go? If not, we're failures. Because we the top of the top, Renaissance, and when you at the top of the top, you expected to have that responsibility. Unfortunately, that for us, and unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, we don't have to do anything because that's not our people. That's not our history. He keep going back to language. Enslaved your ancestral homeland in the Americas. Slavery was taught backwards and reverse. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, Ebony, what's not working? Let me know. I don't know why it's not working. It's working for everybody else. What's going on?
And the French and English, they can't even speak it properly. Because in one classroom, you have 36 kids who come from different tribes in that classroom. So they can only use English or French or Spanish or Portuguese to teach this myriad of tribes now who don't speak their language anymore. African Americans were not prevented from speaking their language. When the ship arrived, it was one from this tribe, that tribe, that tribe, that tribe. So automatically you can speak to each other. And when you don't speak your language for a while, like I've been outside Africa now, going 40 years. If I meet any of my uncles and I start to try to speak my
Ebony,
language,
thank you.
I'm interfered by English constantly, and I can't finish it. I can't make a coherent sentence in my own language because at school, you could not use that language because you are now a bucket of different languages. The same thing happened here. You were brought as a shipload of different languages. That is why Creole and Patois were created. So you use the only word you can understand, a little bit of the colonizer or whoever is controlling you, and try to speak to someone who comes from Senegal. You don't know what he speaks. So over time, it becomes this hodgepodge of a language called Creole or Patois. In Sierra Leone, they have it. In Liberia, they have it. In Nigeria, they have the pidgin English because they can't speak to each other. So nobody prevented you. All you need is to not to use your language because there is no one there to speak to, and the next generation, it's gone. The Jews, however, it was Jews. They took them as Jews. Even though they went from country to country to country, they were lucky enough to keep talking to each other because they can understand each other. So they were able to retain the language. This is my starting point. It happened to us on the continent. So don't be fooled. You hear countries like Nigeria, Ghana. If you ask 5 Ghanaians, one from the Ashanti, one from the Ewe, the Ga, the Akwamu, and the northern region, and ask them, are you Ghanaians? Yes, we are Ghanaians. Look at our passport. Ask them, what is Ghanaian culture? And they'll start looking at each other. There is no such thing. Ask them, what do you speak in Ghana? They'll start looking at each other. Ask them, what is the Ghanaian sense of value? There's no such thing. How do you guys marry in Ghana? There is no such thing. But you say you're Ghanaians. So what happened to us
So don't hold on. Let him finish.
happened here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought he was going to say. No. So what he's trying to do is he's projecting. This is a clear indication of a projection. You're trying to say, well, the Ghanaians don't know their culture. So the same way that these people don't know their culture, because it goes back to tribes, you don't know your culture either. That don't have nothing to do with us. We're on a whole nother side of the world. And it's no disrespect to Ghanaians. You know what I'm saying? It's no disrespect to Africa. Again, my issue be with tethers, not because you're African. All Africans ain't tethers. But don't project their lack of knowledge onto us. Don't do that. The fact that they can't answer the question, that don't mean we can't answer the question. We can answer the question, and we do answer the question. So that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's trying to correlate their lack of logic and lack of culture and lack of historical, context and say with us. The difference is, and this is where we get back into like we can trace our lineage further back than a lot of these other people can because we have paperwork. I trace back to 1723, my eight times great grandfather. If you talk to the average African, they can't trace back to their great grandparent because they didn't have paperwork back then because they were basically just a very primitive tribalistic group of people. So they didn't have all of that. So what you're projecting is you're projecting the lack of logic and the lack of knowledge that they have towards their own people onto us. We can trace our lineage back because we have paperwork to do so. Y'all don't. We have the documents for all of this. So again, this is another form of projection. Shout out to Ebony for the $10 donation. Ebony, I appreciate you for the $10. W Ebony in the chat. Thank you, Ebony, for the love and the support. I appreciate you, Ebony. Thank y'all for the donations, man. I appreciate y'all. Ebony, thank you again for the love.
And when I arrived here, I understood it. When I went to Haiti, I was like, whoa. When I went to Jamaica, the same thing. So when I said I was only speaking here, so I said African Americans, I would have said the same thing about my own countries in the continent. We have no culture.
Glad you said that. Yeah, you said Nigeria was created in the 1900s. Nigeria did not become an established independent country until 1965. It was either 1964 or 1965. I'm pretty sure it was 1965. So some of our grandmothers, some of y'all was born in 1965. Think about that. Somebody said, do I have Zelle? Yeah, my Zelle, you should be seeing it periodically in the chat. If I got an admin, can y'all type my Zelle in there? Here, this is my Zelle right here. I got it right here. I'll copy it and paste it. Some of y'all in here was born before 1965. Can some of y'all type in y'all birth year in here? Can I get everybody's birth year? Or just, if you was born before, or if you was born around 1965, type your birth year in, please. I'm just curious. That's my Zelle right there. Type your birth year in, y'all. Please, if y'all can. Appreciate you all. Enjoy. Because I know we got some people in here that was born before 1965 or just around it. 1982. My mom was born in 1965. 1973. My mother was born in 1964. 1982. 1975. Somebody here was born in 66, 84, 77, 67, 58, 64, 66. My mom was 62. My dad was 57, 75, 64, 90s baby, 86, 80s, 96. My mom is 58, dad 47. Wow. 1953. We got some people that was born in the 50s in my live right now. 1956, 70, 79, 2000, 1960, 1990, 57, 72, 65. So some of y'all are in here are older than the country of Nigeria. which is what he's trying to argue. Not specifically Nigeria, but he's trying to argue a point that doesn't make any sense. These countries were not even established yet. They weren't even called Nigeria. By the way, Nigeria was named by a white woman. So it's not all Africans, it's the tethers. For these people to come over to try to question us, well, where are you really from, nigga? Are you actually from Nigeria? You're not actually from America. You are from Africa. Nigga, my grandma was born before your country was established. What are you talking about? Didn't Georgia become a country in like in the 1700s? I mean, I'm not a country. When did Georgia become an actual independent state? Like what, 17 something? Let me see. When did Georgia become a state? 1788. Georgia, in the United States, Georgia became its own established state in 1788. Nigeria did not become a country until 1965. But they're going to tell you that your family not from America. Your granddad was born in Georgia well before then. So we not from America, right? We from Africa. But their countries did not become established until 1965. Ghana became a country in what, 1967 or something? Established, something like that. It's 1960 somewhere. But even though Georgia was established 100 damn years before, you don't know where you from. Make that make sense to me. How does that make any sense? That don't make no sense to me. These people is delusional, man.
Yeah, but from that video, what I got from it is you put Haitians on a pedestal.
I didn't. No, let me correct you.
Somebody said my grandmother just passed 1919. Wow. One of my aunties was born in 1919. Wow.
When in comparison to Black Americans, you said Haitians, they have a culture. Like you said that out your mouth.
I said. So it was a long video about Haiti. Mm-hmm. And during that conversation, I began to talk about why Haitians can fix Haiti. Because you don't have Haitians. You have just a country forcefully imposed upon you a citizenship, but you are from different places in Africa. But right now, if you go somewhere, you would speak Creole. And somebody would say, oh, that is Haitian. That's what I meant. Not putting them on any pedestal.
So they have a language.
They created one.
So you want to say,
and it's not even useful in any way because it's not an international language.
So they took French and made Creole, right? Is what you're saying.
Spanish, French, and then over 200 African tribal languages into one.
But Americans would say that they took English and made their own language as well.
And what is that?
I mean, it's a broken version of English, but it's still something that we could speak to that's specifically to us.
What language is that?
I mean, it's English.
He's talking about
what that is talking about AAVE, African American Vernacular English. The same way for
again, I don't like to call it AAVE. I like to call it BVA or BAV. I'm sorry, Black American Vernacular, because it has nothing to do with Africa. So, and I understand people don't mean it in a negative way when they say it. People just are indoctrinated. They just follow the masses. But stop calling it AAVE. Stop calling it that. For anybody watching this, stop calling it AAVE because it literally has absolutely zero to do with Africa. Stop calling it that. It is Black American Vernacular, and that's what it is. That's what it is, and that's what it'll forever be. Black American Vernacular. That's what it's called. But Dave cooking though. But I don't like that. But again, everybody do that, so it's not like none against him per se. Wait, so when did Nigeria get established? 1965. So Leah, if you was to go look back on your family tree, your grandma was probably born before 1965. So your grandma is older than Nigeria. But these people try to tell us that y'all not from here. But they from Nigeria, even though Nigeria did not become an established country until 1965. You get it.
What that is saying about AAVE, African American Vernacular English. The same way, for example,
I think I've heard. Yes, when I came to this country in 1994, I had a debate on my campus about Ebonics.
Right.
Now,
same thing.
Yeah, and somebody corrected me. I think it was my professor. Said no. If you say Ebonics, there is no one collective Ebonics.
Correct.
You have to go into pockets. If the person is from the north, the south, the central, they created their own style around it. So I understand that part. That didn't even qualify as a subculture. So let me give you, Jamaicans don't have a culture. When you say the country Jamaica, no, there is not identifiable as a culture. But the Rastafarians have a culture. Now, let me explain what I mean by worldview. The Rastafarians' worldview is that men were put on earth to take care of nature.
Hey, Almond Joy, appreciate you for the $10 donation, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for the $10 donation, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Shout out to Almond for the $10 donation.
Okay? That wealth, you have to create more than consume. So they live a frugal life. So politically, they are pacifists. They will never go to war. Socially, they are communal and what we call Epicurean. They believe getting high, eat some food, and have deep conversation is what life is about.
Shout out to Almond.
And then religiously, they are Rastafarians. Hippies.
Thank you for saying that. I didn't even know that. Thank you for giving us some game. Lily says he's from Benin, which was established in 1960. This is what I be talking about. Thank you, Lil Poos. I didn't even know that. Thank you, Lil Poos. Or Lily Poos.
Are the Western version of a Rastafarians. They also had a worldview. And that dictated their relationship with wealth. The hippies believe that humans were put on earth to create and consume. And that living in community and being frugal as to wearing the most, inexpensive clothing and using things together is what life is all about. So it guided how you see them dress, where they shop from, why they marry, on and on and on. That's what I mean by any society, if you want to understand them, it's the worldview. The Jews believe that they were put on earth as God's chosen people. That through them, that is a worldview. Now, any child told that, forget hurting one of them. Because they are driven by that. That is why they insist on having a community wherever they are. The Chinese, the white community. Do Africans that come from the continent have a community? We don't. Why? Because we don't have a culture. If we had, it would drive us to have a community. In the 50 states of the United States of America, African Americans don't have a community. They have neighborhoods. Now, people who got angry with me didn't even ask me, what does culture do anyway? What is it that I say you didn't have, that it makes you what? Nobody asked that question. What is that thing you're trying to hold on called culture, by the way? What is it?
You care to elaborate on that then? Now?
Now I'm asking. Once upon a time, John Lennon sang a song. Imagine we don't have religion. Imagine a world without religion, without heaven and hell. He believed in what? The brotherhood of mankind. Sure. So imagine the people without a culture. Maybe they are striving to a brotherhood of mankind. So you take words out of context and then you crucify a man.
Right.
Not knowing that I am a victim of a cultureless country.
I don't know how Dave's sitting here listening to this, because this is just tether babble. Dave a trooper for sitting here dealing with this nonsense, man.
That's sometimes the risk.
I think we get angry too quickly. We're too sensitive. I was giving a live talk the other day, and a gentleman, not the way David is behaving, he wrote the book and he said, my brother Frank, he doesn't know what this means to me. He called me on the phone and spoke with me. And we became friends, like on the phone. And I said, I gotta go. Even if it's 3 hours drive, if I have to fly, I'm going to see this gentleman. Because more than this conversation, there is someone here who really is a thinker. But we got to begin to tame down and accept criticism, because that is the only way societies were built in this world. In my live talk, I told this gentleman when he wouldn't get off my case, and I said, let me tell you something. You don't hate the white man. You don't even fear them. Because if black people hate and fear the white man the way they hate and fear each other, you would all have left this country at the end of slavery.
Left this country and go where?
Go where?
Yeah.
Where did the Jews go to? Do you know how many lands in Africa was offered to African Americans through the Black Star Line project? It was funded by a British through Marcus Garvey and Kwame Nkrumah, the Black Star Line. Did you go? No. How did you get the Amerigo Liberia culture moved back? 3,400 people only agreed to go to Liberia. What do you mean where to? Plenty of land everywhere. Where did you come back from? How about the Caribbean?
See, that in and of itself.
But I'm not saying it.
No.
I said,
Notice how he not letting nobody else speak. So he said after slavery, black Americans should have went back to Africa, but we didn't go back to Africa. So we were supposed to just get a flight, my nigga? Niggas were supposed to just call up, use their iPhone and just call a nigga and be like, hey, I'm on my way back. To where? A country that we've not from? A country that we've never been to? A country that our ancestors are not from and never been to? What are you talking about? This is like the real like stupidity, cognitive dissonance. Exactly. This is like pure stupidity. This is just stupidity, man. This is and the thing is, it's just jealousy, y'all. Unfortunately, people like this, it's just jealousy. It's just jealousy.
Hold on, Frank.
I'm
Let
not
me-
accusing
Let me get the
No,
day
no,
real
no,
quick.
no,
Yeah.
No. See, the thing of it is, and you gotta understand, right? Like my favorite verse in the Bible is Proverbs 4:7. It says, "In all thy getting, get an understanding." You gotta understand Frank's perspective. In his mind, it's like, well, shoot, why didn't you go? To me, that's no different than when Kanye sat in front of Harvey Levin and the light skinned boy, never call his name, and said, well, shoot, for 400 years, that's slavery. It sounds like a choice. Like, no, it's not just that, right? It's bigger than that, because what no one talks about is the psyop that was done to us from 1619 through 1865, and then after 1865 all the way through, right? So if you have been told over and over and over and over and over again that you're less than, that you ain't nothing, that you don't even get the right to call yourself a name, there are certain things that get lost in translation because he does not carry that particular experience. He's got his own experiences, and one of the things that I love, and I encourage absolutely everybody to go to this man's YouTube channel, because when he talks about black on black crime, he does not start and stop the conversation at foundational black Americans. He talks about what's happening in Nigeria. He talks about what's happening in Liberia. He talks about what's happening in Ghana. And that is something that's happened throughout the diaspora. And the one thing we all have in common is that we were colonized and psyoped, but none more brutally than us. So if you think, for example, there have been writings from Frederick Douglass, there were writings from Harriet Tubman, there have been plenty of people who have talked about how many people did not want to leave the plantation because it was all they knew, and they were scared, almost to a point where they had Stockholm syndrome. The idea of going back to a place they'd never been or had any historical reference to, because it had been beaten, threatened, hung, stabbed, lynched out of them. Yeah, no, I ain't going back there. Why would I? Now, me personally, I know plenty of people who have repatriated, right? And I know plenty of people who love it. I know plenty of people who get called all types of vacatas and every daggone thing else over there. I also understand that there's a caste system over there. There are people, there have been times when I have been called over there mixed because of the texture of my hair or the fairness of my skin or the narrowness of my nose. Because whether we like to admit it or not, when it comes to a foundational black American line, you can always find, if you go up farther enough, somebody who played massa got loose in the slave quarters, right? Or as they like to say, black buck got loose in the big house, but it wasn't us getting loose in the big house. You understand what I'm saying? So there's all these things. And to the John Lennon point, that's ironic, and I will tell you why. John Lennon was a part of the Beatles. The Beatles invasion came about because the Beatles were the very first Backstreet Boys. The Beatles were doing what Ike Turner was doing, what Jimi Hendrix was doing, what Little Richard was doing, what all these foundational black Americans were doing, but because they were palatable. And they told you themselves that they were singing black music no different than Elvis. So yeah, it's real easy to say, imagine when you're a European, rich, white man with an Asian wife who has more money than he knows what to do with, who had the unmitigated gall to say he was bigger than Christ himself and not get canceled. Yeah, you can imagine that because you're imagining it behind a gated community. And the second he stepped out of that gated community, one of his own people got it. But even that is culture. When we were not allowed to marry each other, to the point when you talked about traditions, we jumped the broom as a symbol to each other and everybody on the plantation or the property, because all slaves weren't on plantations, that this person is my person. I jumped the broom. To this day, I jumped the broom with my wife. That's a part of who we are. That is unique to us. No, we don't have a language, and I'm not going to rehash what I've already said, but we have to have a different level of understanding of what has happened, what continues to happen, and how there is a global conspiracy, whether we choose to understand it or not, to keep all of us separate. Having said that, there are things that happen in Haiti because of what Bill Clinton did when he was president and afterwards. There are things that happen in Jamaica that happen because of the British Crown, right? We all have our different cultural battles to fight, but we're all still black. However, me saying that I have to take care of my 2 daughters does not mean that I don't care about every other black woman on the face of the planet. They are my immediate responsibility as a foundational black American. My immediate responsibility is to foundational black Americans first, not saying foundational black Americans first and F everybody else. I'm saying foundational black Americans first because we're the ones that are bleeding and everybody has benefited from our blood, whether they choose to admit it or not. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment do not happen with us. Civil rights does not happen with us. These very loose, very fun immigration laws that folks are now playing and screwing all of us throughout the diaspora who are here in the Americas does not happen without foundational black Americans. And so all of those things are extremely important to that conversation.
So what would be your definition? My fault is, what would be your definition of culture? Frank gave his definition of culture. What is your definition of culture?
My definition of culture is traditions, it's style, it's certain taboos, you know, and taboos don't have to be a big, huge thing. Bring raisins in a potato salad to a family reunion.
The first thing he said was traditions. And if you look at the definition of culture, customs is just another form of traditions. So Dave's definition of culture is a lot more accurate than Frank's. Frank's definition of culture is whatever he wants it to be so he can continue to spew his delusional narrative. Shout out to Lisa to becoming a member on Patreon. Thank you, Lisa. Make sure that anybody in here, if you want to watch all my full live stream playbacks, you become a member on Patreon. It's 20 cents a day, which amounts to $6 a month. So become a member on Patreon. I'll drop that link in the chat. You should be able to see it, but I'll drop that link in the chat right now so you can subscribe to Patreon. Shout out to Lisa again for becoming a member on Patreon. Thank you, Lisa. And I post all my live streams on Patreon, every single one of them. So the full 4 or 5 hours I may stream a day is all on Patreon, and I post every single day, unless I'm just not streaming that day.
And watch what happens to you, right? Or if we're gonna talk about taboos that still happen but are still considered taboo, bring home a white girl, see what happens. You at bare minimum are getting talked about. Not saying that there's not an OJ, not saying that, you know, the majority of professional athletes, entertainers, those types of people who get to a certain level don't still do that, but it's taboo. Curse while the pastor is talking during his sermon. Those are all taboos, right? Walking on the inside of the street as opposed to the outside of the street. I was raised, but again, my grandfather was born in, I think, 1890, and my grandmother was born in 1904. So my dad was born in 35. So I got a different worldview than a lot of people my age. But there's certain things you don't do. You don't hit a woman. Like, there's certain things that aren't necessarily only unique to us, but there are certain things that over time we have built that make up our culture beyond just language. Spirituality was robbed from us. Language was robbed from us. And yes, even with that, with the example Frank gave, and I'll land my plane on this. Yeah, when you go to school, they got to teach a certain way. Even when you go, I got a cousin that lives in Osaka, Japan, and she teaches English as a second language to Japanese businessmen because they want to come over here. You understand what I'm saying to you? But you have to have a baseline language. But the difference is you're choosing to go to school versus being forced, whipped, chained, bred like cattle, and had anything cultural taken from you. Even the ability to name your child wasn't up to you. My last name didn't come from the continent. My last name comes from the Anderson slave owners of South Carolina. I know exactly what plantation my ancestors come from. Can't tell you the boat, though.
I want to ask, so where did you get your definition of culture?
Well, my background is mass comm journalism. And if you do advanced mass comm journalism, of course, you're going to do multicultural understanding. And in the study of multicultural differences in understanding, of course, you study how languages were developed, what it meant for people, and so on and so forth. And it's the first thing that allows you to understand how to interact when you move from one place to go to another place. So through that, and then, of course, my column for 13 years was life and culture. I didn't report on politics, economics, or wars. I reported on life and culture. It allowed me to study, and I realized, how would I know? I began to compare it, to where I'm coming from. And I said, something went wrong. I would make give me just a little bit.
This is tether babble, what you're seeing right now. He asked him a very simple question of where did you get your definition of culture? And if he was intelligent, he would say that he got his definition of culture right here. You cannot change the definition of words whenever it's beneficial to your argument. That doesn't make any sense. So he's just tether babbling at this point, going through a whole bunch of different hoops and loops because he doesn't have the actual definition of culture, which just says right here, these are the two definitions of the word culture. So this is exactly Dewana. This is blah, 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 tether babble. But let's listen to him babble.
To explain something. You know where my interest as
Shout out to Takesha. Takesha, thank you for the $5 donation. Shout out to Takesha for the $5 donation. We at 165 for the day. Appreciate you, Takesha, for the $5 donation. Shout out to Takesha for the $5 on Venmo. Thank you.
a black man became piqued after traveling the world. When I began to hear the slogans we create, the narratives we create, okay? I was speaking in Kenya on a university campus. One young man got up and told me how I missed the point about why Kenya is the way it is, and blamed the white man who came to take their culture and stop them from speaking their local languages and gave us Christianity. Oh, he went down the laundry list of things that happened to them, and it's still happening. So I said, wow, you are a brilliant man. I've never met anyone who have made this list, but I have only one question. Why did it work? And that is what we refuse to ask ourselves. So we always say that they did this to us. They did this to us. But we never ask ourselves, why did it work? See, I've been to the Caribbean. I've been to many cities in the United States. I've lived in the UK. I've seen blacks in the UK. I've seen black in China. I've seen blacks in almost every corner of the world.
I'm not even saying that he just babbling and just tether babbling just because I disagree with him. He literally not, he just talking. Like, it's not even the fact that I disagree. He just literally just saying stuff. And I hate the fact that they not checking him. Like I will say, I like their daily wrap-up crew. But I don't think that they too, sometimes they too nice for me. Because me, I would have been like, that's not what I asked you. So respectfully, I would like you to answer the question that I just simply asked you. Like if you watch my dating show, when people come up in it, I'll be like, so, you know, why do you want to be married? And I'll ask a woman that on a live. And then she'll go into this whole thing that has nothing to do with what I just asked her. Right? That's not what I asked you. So I'll stop her so she don't waste another 5 minutes babbling. And that's what he doing right now. They should have been stopped him a long time ago and just said, that's not what I asked you. Answer the question. He just babbling and just going.
And I've seen blacks in America and on the continent. And everything we are describing is uniform about us. You really think that the largest number of people on earth in terms of countries, 54 in one continent, about 10 or 13 in the Caribbean, black groups in the UK, in China, in America. And we are all suffering that psychological warfare.
What is he talking
and responding
about?
to it for
He not
years.
answering the question.
Nothing in the world, use any probability, has ever tossed a coin and it fell on its head 9 times out of 10. Impossible. We need to re-examine us as black people. What is it? And it's nothing we are saying. Because if it is true, then there's something really wrong first with us. Let me tell you something. Korea, nobody. It's a miracle that Korea is what it is today. It is the only country in the world, or in Asia, let me just be, that has never waged war. They call them Pakachong, inferior, by the Japanese, but Mongolians, Chinese. They were bullied and they were invaded, colonized, tortured.
What he's doing right now is a red herring. If y'all don't know, he's doing a red herring, which is basically trying to deflect the point to something else that has nothing to do with the conversation as a distraction. This is a tactic that a lot of people that are either incorrect about what they say, they don't have an answer to the question, or they're just trying to manipulate the question to get you to forget. This is a red herring, and that's what he's doing right now. Look at look at his face right now. Look at him. For what reason would this nigga ever have to be doing this? Look at what he doing. Why is in your explanation you are making this face? Like, my nigga, what are you talking about? He's not answering a question. He's just presenting a red herring to get everybody else just mind not off of what the simple question was. If I was there, I would have completely stopped all of this about 3 minutes ago and would have said, no, Frank, respectfully, that's not what I asked you. You need to answer the question. Look at what this nigga is doing right now. This is like, man, I don't know, man.
Hundreds of
Dude
years.
tweaking, man.
Why didn't it work on them? The Jews went into slavery, the globe, 4,000 years in the diaspora. In Egypt, in Baghdad, which was formerly Babylon. When they were in Europe, what was the name the Aryan race through the Nazi organization said they were? Jews are inferior. It's what they said over and again to German kids. When they arrived in America, Sammy Davis had a joke. He said he was getting on the bus in Montgomery. The driver told him to get to the back of the bus. He said, no, you don't understand. I'm a Jew. He said, oh, get off the bus then. In 1977, a black man bought a home in Westport, Connecticut before a Jew. Jews were not allowed to rent or buy a home in Greenwich, in Westport, in Darien. There's a story Donald Trump had to build the first golf course when he became aware that Jews and blacks were not allowed to play in golf courses. Jews had it tough in this country through redlining, where they were not allowed to set up businesses, so they were forced to converge and start loaning to themselves from within. It didn't happen to them 4,000 years, longer than we were in slave or colonization. So the question you need to ask is, if they did all these things against us, why did it work? Let me
Okay, so basically what he just said is a very delusional, uneducated talking point. So his point is, first of all, he never answers the question. So we just basically just going off course, right? But I'm going to respond to the point that he just made. He just said that Jews had it hard in America because they had to go through redlining and things as well. So how did it work for the Jews, but it didn't work for the blacks? Well, I'll answer your question, you idiot, so-called historian. If you don't know, Jews were still being able to be considered as white. Black people literally had laws that was not allowing them to do things based on skin color. There was a point in time where the Irish were not considered white, where the Italians were not considered white, where the Jews were sometimes they still not considered white, but on paper they're white. But in this same time, they were still considered white. So they were still given the access of certain things. The same reason why a lot of people this is why I don't like talking about this whole black and brown coalition and people of color stuff, because they like to lump in and dilute the things that only specifically black Americans had to go through. When you talk about the Latinos in America, right, back in the day, in like the 1900s, the few of them that were over here before 1965, a lot of these Latinos, they like to bring up like we were oppressed too. No, because a lot of y'all were able to classify yourselves as white. So although, yeah, you might have been a minority and white people didn't like you because you weren't necessarily fully white, you were still able to classify as white on paper because of your skin color. And just respectfully, Spain, I mean, a lot of your ancestors are Hispanic, that's Europe. So you're still a white person, which is why a lot of the Latinos are very racist towards black people, because they still look at themselves as white. They still want to be white. They only want to be a minority and want to be something that's different whenever it's beneficial. But they're very, very racist in these, in these enclaves around each other. So they're still able to classify on paper as white and still get benefits. That's the difference. So you can miss me with the BIPOC stuff. You can miss me with the people of color stuff. You can miss me with the woman of color stuff. You can miss me with the we all the same. No, we not all the same, because your history is not ours. And we fought for your people to come over here and get some type of access to these freedoms that everybody is able to get to. What has your community done for us? So this is exactly what he just said, right? And just the lack of knowledge that he has, but he's a so-called historian, is the exact reason why I don't hate other people, but I don't really care. I don't have the thing where I'm like, well, we got to help them too. That's what's wrong with black people. Satan and Center said it perfectly. I was watching Satan and Center give a podcast speaking about, the Nick Fuentes thing or whatever. He was speaking about the little debate he had on Piers Morgan, and he was just like, yeah, something about the black people have still not figured out that nobody cares about you. Black people, we still haven't figured that out. Now, some of us we have, but in general, the average black American has not realized that nobody cares about you. Nobody's going to come save you. Black Americans are too focused on trying to save everybody else, trying to be nice with everybody else, letting everybody else infiltrate our communities, our schools, our historical impact, right? We have forgotten that these people, they don't care. They don't care. So this has become the problem. So I'm glad he said this. You saying white aggressive as hell. But hey, he's trying to compare somebody that was able to classify as white to Black Americans who weren't able to classify as anything else. But in that time, I think if it was redlining time, that was in the early 1920s. So that would have been still Negro at that point. So we were still stemming from the Walter Plecker stuff from Virginia. It's crazy.
Give you one thing. To the response I said earlier, why African Americans didn't leave after slavery. Not because there was no place to go to. That is completely a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself, the Ashantis knew that they were the most powerful tribe in Ghana.
Another thing too, don't trust no man with his legs crossed like this. I mean, they tight. His legs is tight crossed. I don't know.
Followed by the Airways, the Gans, the Chuis, Aquamus, everybody. They knew.
And he got on dress pants, so it's even more tight. You ain't even got on jogger pants or like you got on like some loose jeans. You got on tight dress pants. I don't know what you got going on, my dude. And you a nigga with absolutely zero facial hair and no hair on the top of your head. You can't never trust a nigga with no facial hair and no hair on the top of his head and none of that. I'm just saying, he don't got a mustache. Don't trust no nigga with a mustache without no mustache. I don't know about all that.
That they didn't form the country Ghana, that they were forced, okay?
Nigga like an alien.
But it came to an end. For Ghana, 1957. Why didn't they go back to become the individual tribes they were? Was anybody there telling them you can't? No. Do you know why they stayed as a country?
Why?
They were attracted by the bling the colonial left behind. The roads, the hospitals, the schools, the post office, the fire, the department, the buses with air conditioning from London imported to their country, the railway lines, all the beautiful things. Why didn't you live here? It's not because you don't know where to go. It's because you didn't hate the white man and you weren't afraid of him.
I think you're eliminating the fact that we built blood, sweat, tears, deaths, so much. We are the biggest innovators. We built America. Why give up everything we built? America wouldn't exist off the pains and struggles of Black Americans. You don't just give that up. We also, with asking your question, we do.
Forget all that. I mean, it's true, but America is our homeland. All of us didn't come over here from no boat. This is what the big point that like Frank and dude right here that's talking is missing. You don't even have to argue this point, brother, because we get that. We're not just continental generic Africans that just randomly came over here from somewhere. Like all of us are not from Africa. And I think that's the point that they're missing.
Who also asks, why didn't Africans or other Caribbean people or other nations join us and make us a bigger nation in America? We built it. Everything came off our death. And every time we created something big, it was destroyed, burned down. Like where? What are you talking about?
Oh, wait. I got this one. Don't worry. Wilmington, North Carolina, Eatonville, Rosewood, Tulsa, Philadelphia, Chester, Pennsylvania, Wilmington, North Carolina, Blackwood, South Carolina,
in Jersey.
Yeah, there were plenty of places. Anytime we had any infrastructure, two things happened. They decided to integrate it. Look at have you been to Central Park? You know what Central Park is, right?
It's a park.
No, it's not. Central Park was actually a place called.
This is the lack of knowledge, and you got people in these debates and they just don't know. I'm glad that Dave asked him this question. I'm so glad. Like I do this a lot of times when I'm on live. I ask people a question just to see it because they like to argue a point, and I'll ask them very basic stuff that they claim if they debate it, then they should know, and they don't even know. He don't have no idea what that was. So I'm glad Dave asked him that question to try to check him at that point, and he had no idea.
You know what Central Park is, right?
It's a park.
No, it's not.
It's a park. No, stupid. Go ahead, Dave.
Central Park was actually a place called Seneca Village. It was when freed Black people decided to converge in one area, and they decided to redistrict that area, even though they owned the land and the houses that they built free and clear, and they destroyed those people, displaced those people, and built a park around it. There's an old song Joni Mitchell said, "Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone." They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They paved paradise and put up Seneca Village. In Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, there's a place called Lake Lanier. It used to be a thriving Black town. They decided to kill the Black folks, get rid of the ones they couldn't kill, and then people right now are boating on it every weekend. That's what happened to us. That's what got destroyed. And it doesn't mean that we don't keep building, but after a while, even if you look at the flea experiment, you familiar with the flea experiment?
The what?
The flea experiment.
No.
So the flea experiment goes like this. You take a bunch of fleas, you put them in a jar, you put the top on the jar, and you put holes in the top of the jar. After a while, the fleas will stop at the top of the jar because they get tired of smacking up against the top of the jar. Now, because you have conditioned the fleas that they're not going to go above the top of the jar, you take the top of the jar off and you never have to worry about them jumping out of the jar because they don't think there's anything above the jar. So if you have been killed, bombed, drowned, thrown out, redistrict, redlined, yeah, those are historical facts. I got time. We can Google it.
Sure.
But that's that's
not
the part.
I'm no expert
No.
on all the things he has listed.
I'm just saying we shouldn't
Yes.
just talk about
Yes.
leaving.
I will
and we
respond.
built that.
Yes, I will respond to you. I'm no expert on all the things he has listed. I might have read about them, but you see, every time I read something or I encounter a story, my mind works in that way because I'm an critical thinker. All right. I have also known societies in the world that once upon a time were prevented to do anything. They were prevented to do anything. Like the Jews is an example of it. Indians were an example for 81 years by the British. They couldn't build, innovate, do anything. They have to rely on the white people, right? And you can go down Koreans the same way. However, I believe in something called the second advantage, meaning when the phenomena is over, you should repeat it. So somebody gave me the first lecture about Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I said, what year was that? Quite a long time ago, right? Okay. At one time in this country, you and we will not have an opportunity to do certain things. But if that ability to build Black Wall Street is innate, why haven't we repeated it?
Because we cannot. And here's
Now let's go to your flea experiment.
sure.
How about the other people who've been held down also by the same condition for long? Why are they not? Here is my problem. I have a lot of mentees.
Yeah.
African American students whom I used to take to Africa. I had a program. Every year, I take a bunch of them.
Wouldn't that logic apply to his country and where he's from? Africa is literally, I mean, the IQ in Africa is ridiculously low. The infrastructure in Africa is terrible. I mean, there's a video I just saw like a week ago. They couldn't even build a bridge across a river without it falling. The education system is terrible in Africa. The economic system is terrible in Africa. The health care system is terrible in Africa. They don't even have Wi-Fi in a lot of places and telephone lines. So wouldn't this logic apply to them? The difference is Africa is also the majority. Black Americans are not the majority in America. You're the majority in your homelands, and you let a 5'2" Asian smack you around in the back of his head with a cigarette in his mouth because you're scared. So the logic would also apply with your own people. So why haven't your own people did anything to build themselves up? Why are you not even in America? I mean, why are you in America? I mean, you want to talk. You don't even have your traditional clothing on. You have on an attire that is from the West. You don't even have your traditional attire on from your homeland. Let's talk about it. Since one is having a watch on, whatever, the Benin culture, and you have on a suit and it's like, what about this is your own culture, your own people? You have been colonized, but you claiming that you're not colonized. You claiming that you're so in tune with your people, but you clearly not. Look at what you have on. Look at the places you at. You have to flee all over the world to gain any type of knowledge. So the logic would also apply to you and your people, nigga. Let me not even get there. Let me not go there.
Them to build schools in Benin.
A lot of that money out of his own pocket, by the way.
Yes.
Credit where credit is due.
Now,
Bed. That's why I brought it up.
I
Not my
really get the goose on my skin when we keep repeating the very thing that is building prisons around us. One is that we've been psyched up, so we can't do anything. Two is somebody is always lurching in the dark. That's why we are the way we are. If you say so, and then you ask a kid to go to school and stay in school and do well, you sound stupid. Why don't you go and kill the white supremacist so the problem will go away from me? There is something that is just human. When you find yourself in a certain situation, you cannot explain it. Better create a boogeyman fast.
Let me explain something to y'all real quick. When you have people that's trying to, because he said, go kill the white supremacists, go kill the whites. That is a setup. Do not let any of these tethers make you think to do something that is going to cause you to lose your freedom and cause you to lose your mind. That is a setup. If anybody should be talking about this, it should be us telling you that, because y'all don't have a history of going against and having rebellions like we do. So don't let any of these people that try to say stuff like this try to get you to get some radical mindset. I had to check a dude in my chat one day. This dude, I guess he was a black American. I don't know. I'm assuming he was because his name. But he was like, yeah, man, we got it. He was getting mad at me in the chat because he was like, yeah, man, we gotta go do something to these whites, man. Let's go get out there and go ahead, and you too soft for them white folks, man. Go out there and get them white folks. And I'm like, why don't you go do it, my nigga? You like, nigga was like in his 50s. Why don't you go do it? Why are you on the internet behind a fake page without you in a profile picture telling another YouTuber to go out there and kill whites? Nigga, why don't you go do it? Why are you in my live telling me to commit a crime? Goofy, that's agent behavior. That's op behavior. Because if it was really like that, that's something that you would say off the internet. You wouldn't say that on the net. So why are you in my live telling me to go commit a crime against a group of people? What is you talking about? That's goofy. That's weak stuff. That's what's wrong with these niggas. They get on the internet and just be saying stuff. And he another one right here.
Only turns around and imprison you and your own children. I refuse. There is no psychological effect on any black person on earth. We are just what we are, different. And whenever we find ourselves among other people, the first thing we start doing is compare. Let me give you a country, South Africa. 12 tribes, 7 major ones. Shaka the Zulu is from the Zulu land. And then the Xhosas, and then the Vendas and Limpopos, okay? Makes one huge region, 51 million black people. Six-pack and big chest. They'll kill you with their bare hands. 2.8 million white people arrived and built that country to the standard of a European country. 2.8 million South African white. Then the people started bickering. They said apartheid was the reason the black man was poor in South Africa. So the majority, 51 million black people, were waiting on 2.8, saying that apartheid. You don't know what apartheid is?
Yes.
Apartheid was no economic thing. Apartheid simply is what is happening or happened in America, like in Westport. Look, don't have children with our girls. We want to keep a pure race. Apartheid is what is happening in India. We want to keep Indians marry themselves. Koreans are eugenics. They marry each other. How many Koreans have you seen in America married to celebrities? No. That is apartheid. So if you start marrying them, they'll tell them, clean out. That was it. Now, if blacks believe that they can build South Africa, you know what? Mandela wouldn't waste his time in prison and all these things. He would have simply said, you know what? Let's have a BSA, Black South Africa Republic. Let them cut off white South Africa and let's compete. No, they wasted their time asking the whites, just allow me to come to your beach, to your clinic, to your schools. Okay, 32 years ago, the white man said, just wait and see. We are warning them that managing a country is not something anybody you can just do. So 32 years ago, they gave the country back to the blacks.
Somebody said, why is he here in our country if he's against black Americans? Well, that's why he's here in our country. You answered your own question. Think about your question. Great question, by the way, Carlette. He is against black Americans. That's why he's over here. That's why he's still on this podcast. That's the reason why.
Country is not something anybody you can just do. So 32 years ago, they gave the country back to the blacks.
It's called tethering.
I was there in 2022 to speak. They are now having load shed. Electricity can't stay on. Water is not flowing. Roads are cracked. Airport is breaking down. The Durban train station is finished when they gave it to blacks.
So you're saying that they're not capable?
No, they're not capable. I don't have to say it. 32 years. It took Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, Malaysia, and Indonesia to build themselves up right after independence. 14 countries in the Balkans. Many people in this country who are below the age of 40 don't understand what Soviet Union means. That was a devil's empire that colonized 14 countries in their grip for 40 years. Name one Eastern European country that is downtrodden because of the Russians.
So do you have the answer to the reason they're not capable?
There is no reason.
So they're just not capable because they're just not capable. There's no reason behind it. There's nothing behind it. There's not
No.
a particular
So,
mindset.
I'll
that just
tell you,
woke up one
because
day and just
if you
said,
look in the generation of where I come from, my grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, none from Africa has ever build and manage a country.
it got to be a reason though.
No. I'm saying we have never done it. Just
Right.
like,
So if you've
just
never
like
done
no
something-
lion has ever dug a foxhole.
Right.
Only fox can dig a foxhole.
right.
Only rabbits can dig a rabbit hole.
So what,
Lions can't. So why would you say, is there a reason a lion can dig a foxhole?
But-
No, there's no reason. It's a lion.
But those different animals, we
it's
talking about
called
humans.
a lack of breadth of experience.
Humans are
That is a
different, my
reason.
friend.
Not having the experience is a reason. And again,
Okay, so maybe we have not had the need. You see, we make too big a deal about industrialization, as if industrialization is for people who are smart. No, industrialization is for people who were threatened by nature. And the continent of Africa, which is the home place of black people, is the most comfortable place that has never had any threat. Tsunamis, earthquakes, tectonic plate shakes, winters 10 feet high, springs. You wake up every day, the trees are green, the tomato is 365 days, it's right behind your house, the river is there, and you just lie out there, eat something, and just chill. So your brain for millions of years is not inventive because
There's no need.
there's no need. So we build little communities. Africans are communal. The black man by nature is not an individualistic actor.
No.
The black man relies. That's why you can't finish a sentence with the black man without him saying, oh, my niece, my cousin. You can talk to a Japanese, a Korean, and a white man for 3 hours, and he's my wife and children. That's all you're going to hear because they come from that kind of thing. All right? So where we come from, where we evolved, gave us something. And that something is what we are. So what the white person did in South Africa is not because he's smart, it's because just over years, millions of years, they've been in threat from nature. So always their brain is inventive. Oh, how can we protect ourselves? We didn't need a reason to let the water be in some, because it's not going to freeze. And we have to come back to that. But we keep preaching that somebody, this wiggly white small race, have held down black men, Shaquille O'Neal size of people. And then our children are hearing it. And you forget to see why our children hate each other because you say we are nothing. So it's easy for the black man to kill the other person. And I'm just saying we need to.
Okay, so again, this is a projection because he's talking about Africa. So then you would have to explain all of the inventions that Black Americans invented in America. And that just assumes the stuff that we were able to do legally, because there was a point in time where Black people were not allowed to have patents. Women were not allowed to have patents. So all of the inventions that Black people created that were stolen here in America, you would have to answer that question. How are we as Black Americans able to cultivate all of these different inventions in America, music as well, and everything else, and including the stuff that isn't on paper because we were not allowed to have patents at a certain point in time in America? You would have to answer to that. So again, this is a projection for the fact that your people, maybe in your homeland, has not created anything or cultivated anything for the fact that you were at the bottom of the barrel. And you still have not come up from that. And you're the majority. See, the argument that he's trying to make and he's trying to bring up is he's trying to bring up an argument that classifies all of us as the same. And that is incorrect. We don't have the same history. We were not under the same levels of oppression. So you're just flossing.
Tip $50. He needs to take that same passion and focus on his homeland. Black Americans have invented many things. BTW, he needs to do his research.
Facts, Chris. And shout out to Chris for the $50 donation. Much love to you, Chris. I appreciate that, fam. But absolutely. Literally. Shout out to Chris for the $50 donation, man. Shout out to Chris. W Chris in the chat for the $50 donation. I appreciate you, Chris. This is just this whole conversation is like a huge projection conversation that we having right now, man. Chris, again, thank you for the $50 donation. Much love to you, Chris. Shout out to OG, always coming in showing love. Shout out to Christopher Jennings. I'm a proud African and I agree with him 50% only. Yeah, I bet you do, my nigga. If I asked you to come up and explain that, though, I bet you couldn't do that.
Stop this.
And if you want me to drop that link, just let me know. You can come up.
Stop it. How can one race on earth have the same experience and it's not going away?
Again, he keeps saying one race on earth. We over race. We've been done a race a long time ago. And we don't have the same experience. Just babbling and talking again. Tether babble.
I agree with you, right? To a certain
So
degree,
to your
right?
question, we build it so we won't live it. You're lying to yourself. What did you build in America? Name one thing you built. You were in the 6 states in the South farms because of your ability. They took them to Jamaica because of plantation. They took them to Haiti because of plantation. So when they brought you here, it's because farms. And you keep saying we build. You're making the kids angry. If the man didn't have a home, how could he bring you as a slave? He built the country. He wanted you here to maintain some things, man. So what? You build. So what? You will give your dignity, your children's dignity, because we build the country. Therefore, we are going to stay in the country where we will be looked down upon. We will be indignified because I build it. Instead of you going and build. Do you know what the Jews build in?
So I guess he believes that all of the infrastructure of this country was built by white people. Well, you do know slaves, they did a lot more than just picking cotton. Slaves, a lot of slaves were architects, right? Where they created literally the foundation of certain buildings. Because if you want to talk about build, the word was build. So if we say build, we are literally talking about building something, like likely with our hands. So who do you think built these plantations in the South, these huge homes? Who do you think built the White House? Who do you think built the Capitol building? Who do you think built these places? So when we say built, when Black Americans say we built America, we are literally talking about building it with bare hands. We're not just talking about social constructs. We're not just talking about civil rights. We are literally talking about foot on land, 10 toes, foot in the dirt. And if you want to talk about like another form of build, we built the economic system of just America being the most profitable country ever because of the cotton picking that people were doing. So that's what we mean by we say build. And I don't know why they sat there in silence like they didn't notice. Maybe that they don't. Maybe they don't. The railroads, I said that earlier. So I mean, what are you talking about? Free labor. Let's keep going.
Other people's country, but they left it easily to go to a desert. And look at it today. Touch one of them, and God bless you.
A desert that was started and state sanctioned in 1946, the year my mother was born. A desert that also came with infrastructure, a desert that also came with banking systems, a desert that also came with absolutely no laws preventing them to build freely.
But
That
I'm
is no-
saying
no, 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 no,
they
wait, no, no,
moved
Frank,
from the place.
Hold on, Frank.
Frank. I sat here very quietly,
Okay,
intently
okay,
listening.
sorry.
I got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I was listening twice as much as I normally talk. Jews were allowed to build institutions, hospitals, banks, all of those things over time. And when they left what was happening because of Hitler,
Not to mention, Dave just spoke about 10 to 15 minutes ago about all of the like the riots, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all of the things that these white extremists took from us, and all the cities and the communities that they burned down. So what were all those? Were those things not built? I mean, Dave just answered this question about 15, 20 minutes ago.
they also came with their wealth intact, and they were allowed to commune together and build those things without infrastructure. You know what happened right after emancipation? The federal government created something called the Freedmen's Bank. You familiar with the Freedmen's Bank?
I've heard of it. I'm not familiar.
So the
with it.
Freedmen's Bank was marketed to black people, foundational black Americans, recently freed men. That's why it's called the Freedmen's Bank, as a place for them to take the money they had acquired over time, either from sharecropping, what they had earned from buying their freedom, or whatever the case may be. And they all put their money into the Freedmen's Bank. And you know what happened? The government and the robber barons and the people running the Freedmen's Bank took all of their money. Do you know how many black owned and operated banks there are currently in these United States?
No.
22. Most of those are completely underfunded, and they don't have a network that does not get the same support from the FDIC as a Wells Fargo, Chase Manhattan, all of those things. These things are unique. There is, in fact, and you know this because you have lived. I've lived in 34 cities in 19 states. I've been around. I understand how certain things go, but can you right now, with your wealth and the people that you know, how much land in Chinatown anywhere in the United States can you buy right now?
Which Chinatown? The one here?
Any Chinatown. How much can you buy right now?
Well, I don't know.
Zero. They won't allow it. How much can you buy in the Diamond District in any place? Let's just start in New York.
Hey, Dave cooking. Hold on, I gotta bring this back. Dave cooking. Hold on. Let me bring this back.
Certain things go, but can you right now, with your wealth and the people that you know, how much land in Chinatown anywhere in the United States can you buy right now?
Which Chinatown? The one here?
Any Chinatown. How much can you buy right now?
Well, I don't know.
Zero. They won't allow it. How much can you buy in the Diamond District in any place? Let's just start in New York. How much can you buy? How much can you buy?
I don't know those.
Zero.
Yeah.
Because they're allowed to gatekeep that. There is no situation that you can name in America in modern times, taking slavery and everything off the table, just starting from 1865 on, that does not have white involvement and white interference. If you can name it, I will apologize, but it does not exist. And that's what makes us unique versus the Jews who were allowed to take their money. Oh, and by the way, the United States of America, also Germany, all of those countries that were involved in World War II paid and repaired the Jews.
Right.
Japanese Americans who were put in internment camps because America allegedly was afraid of another Pearl Harbor, but we all know historically that was some BS because they knew Pearl Harbor was going to happen before it happened and they allowed it to happen, took the Japanese Americans out of their homes, out of their stores, out of their businesses, out of their communities and put them in internment camps. And when they released them when the war was over, you know what they did? They repaired them.
I think they gave them like $79,000 per family or something like that.
Financially, they gave them grants.
Per person in the family, including all the grants and other stuff too, back housing and land and all of that.
Land grants. So it's easy to talk about, well, look at what the Jews did, this, that, and the third, because the other part of that is you can freely, without fear of recompense, without fear of cancellation, without fear of any type of retaliation, talk extremely critically of foundational Black Americans. I dare you to go do that to Edelstein and the folks over at the National Defamation League and see how quickly Franc Zanu gets canceled. See how quickly your bank accounts get frozen. See how quickly you become public enemy number one. But they will back you and make sure your algorithm goes viral to the point where people wrongly are threatening your life. It's not an apples to apples comparison. We're comparing apples to ancestry and the freedom to make it happen. That's not an excuse. And by the way, I'm not saying a white man is holding me down. I have plenty of businesses. Google is a snitch. It'll tell you all of my business. But the truth of the matter is, am I a dyslexic, dyscalculic kid with a speech impediment that became a speaker and a 22-time best-selling author? Yes, in spite of the fact that my family started in the Richard Allen Projects, in spite of the fact that I have to read a little different, in spite of the fact that I might jumble my words here and there. It's not that it's impossible, but to me to act like that is the rule, as opposed to the fact the truth is that I am the exception, is not only disingenuous, it's very, very short-sighted.
Let me add on that point too. I'm so glad he brought up that fact of how the American system works. And this is why I always bring up, like, well, I just brought up, but I always bring this up, how Black people are too nice to everybody. Again, what I'm not saying is we need to denigrate people. What I'm not saying is we need to wish or try to curse people or wish ill will on people. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't advise nobody to do that. What I'm saying is we are too nice to everybody. He brought up a great point about Chinatown. Nowhere in this country, if you go to any Chinatown, can you be a Black American and buy anything in Chinatown. You know why? Because like he said, they won't allow you to. But go to any Black community. What you see in a Black community? The Indians run and own something. The Asians, India is in Asia, but you know, the Eastern Asians don't consider the Indians real Asians. But the Chinese own something. The Japanese might own something. The Armenian dude runs the store behind the little 7-Eleven or whatever. It's a bunch of other people who own things in Black American communities, and they do that strategically. There were so many Black American communities where Black American men and women owned businesses back in like the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. And at this time was the same time that they were trying to implement, you know, the CIA and the FBI's way of, you know, trying to implement COINTELPRO. And it isn't just people. It isn't just agents. Don't get that twisted. It's a system that they set up. Because at the same time, they were trying to destroy the Black American family unit, the traditional Black family. They were trying to destroy that, right? This one they was trying to implement damn, I don't know why I can't think. The government handouts, right? the SNAP benefits and things like that. You can't have a man in a household. If you have more children as a black woman, we'll give you more money. To where now you don't even have money to even build any wealth, or you can't even build any wealth to try to even own a business, because now you have to rely on the government. It's all strategic, but people don't understand that. So when you bring these things up and you say, well, why haven't the blacks done anything else? It's all systematically. This is what we mean by systematic oppression. This is exactly what we're talking about, systematic racism. They will let the Asian, because you know why? The Asian don't have a history of fighting against oppression. They don't have a history of that. They don't have a history of that. They lost the Japanese lost when they bombed Nagasaki. When they lost, they said F it. They didn't care no more. They gave up. We have never gave up, and we're in the belly of the beast. The difference is they were on a whole side of the country, or a whole side of the world. I'm sorry. We in the belly of the beast. We are the only people who have a historic history of fighting against these people right here on American soil, and they know that. This is why COINTELPRO was implemented, because they can't let us do anything radical. The Black Panther Party is a prime example of it. Y'all can't have nothing radical because we fear you.
It's crazy to me how people can just say shit without doing any kind of research. This dude probably thinks Thomas Edison invented the light bulb and never heard of Lewis Lattimore. Okay, I'm done. Salute.
Hey, Christopher, thank you for the $10 donation. No, really though, he's just talking to Babylon. Shout out to my dog Christopher, man. I'm so glad Dave added this point, man. Christopher, thank you again for the $10 donation, man. We had $225 for the day, y'all. Keep showing love, keep donating to the live. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, exactly. We do have a bad habit of supporting all of their businesses, and including myself. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I don't sometimes go to their businesses, but it's not to say I'm just trying to support them for who they are. It's just like it's convenient. But again, this is what exactly what Black Americans have. Wait, hold on. I just keep out. What Black Americans have been through, no other race has gone through. Exactly. So you can miss me with this other stuff of like, well, they did it, so why can't you do it? There is a whole entire history based on this. But again, Black people are too nice. Black Americans are too nice. Am I saying we need to go out and fight people and take people's life and denigrate people? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is we need to be selfish like everybody else is. Take your black ass to Japan and try to buy the block up in Japan. See how them people are going to treat you. You think you're going to allow you as a Black American to try to buy some businesses in Japan? You think you're going to have a Black American town in Japan? You think they're going to allow that? But you can have a Chinatown next to the hood. Go to Chicago. The Chinatown is on the south side. Now, it's not in the hood, but it's right damn nearby it. You can't do that in Japan. You can't do that in India. You can't do that in China. You can't do that in any Latin American country. You can't do that in South America. You can't do that nowhere. You can't do that. But we always is like trying to be everybody's fighter, and then we allow, and I'm not a Republican. Don't get it twisted. We got like 300 people in here. Shout out to 300 people in here. I'm not no damn Republican, but I'm always I'm always going to be call out the Democrats, because unfortunately almost 90% of us always vote to that side. So I have to call them out, because that's who unfortunately too many of us just give our allegiance to. This is what they implement. This is wrong with the Democratic Party. And they use these things, like I say all the time, the Black and Brown Coalition, BIPOC, all of these things, Black women calling ourselves people of color instead of just calling ourselves Black American women. You are deluding yourself. And these people don't give a damn about you. That's why I'm so big on immigration. I'm so big on getting immigration, because it's another white supremacist tactic to undermine your ass. But you want to be nice to everybody, and you allow these people to come over here who has historically taken over your communities and don't give a damn about you. You are a product to them, because you support their businesses. You go to the nail people, and including myself. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. So I go to their restaurant sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I live in a place where they know really Black people at, but like I unfortunately, most of us do, I would say, unfortunately, we support these people. We gotta get out of that. We gotta get out of that mentality. We have to. That's all I'm saying. We need to support our own, because they don't support us. I ain't never seen no Asian in no soul food restaurant ever. You ever seen an Indian in a soul food restaurant? I ain't never seen one. You ever seen a Chinese girl in a soul food restaurant unless she having sex with a Black man? I ain't never seen it. I ain't never seen no Asian woman go get her nails done by a Black woman. I ain't never seen it. We are the only group of people who try to be nice to everybody. But again, it is a system that set it up that way. So not only am I calling us out, but I'm also giving us that grace, because we have been indoctrinated. So we got to get out of this indoctrination, including myself. You know what I'm saying? And we need to start like paying attention to this stuff. We need to understand our history so we can get out of this mentality. So shout out to Dave for bringing this up. Let's keep going.
That's the only point I'm making.
Look, when I use the Jews, I don't talk about something like, the Jews have this money, this person. I don't know. And I don't want to talk about it. And I don't talk about other people because I don't have to. They have done nothing to me. I talk about people like me. So I'm not going to criticize them in the fear of my algorithm. And by the way, I do not like that anybody will say because I'm criticizing my people, so my algorithm is going up. If it is so, fine. All I'm saying is I am talking about us. And I'm saying, if all the things you are mentioning happening, wouldn't that be enough reason for you to
You've
say
been here for 40 years, you said?
34?
Okay, before then, what was your understanding of foundational Black Americans at that point? Have you heard about us even when you were wherever you were from?
Well, you must understand that when we began to know about African Americans, they were called colored people. And then from colored, it became Negro. And then after Negro, it became Afro-American. So we in high school, if you had come to Africa, we call it Afro-American. And then from there it became Black American. And then from there it became African Americans. And now I'm hearing the new terminology, which is foundational Black Americans. I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from. So if I knew about African Americans, yes, my name was Superfly. We all...
Oh, you understand all the other ones, but you don't understand the foundational. The reason why you don't understand the foundational is because you can't tether onto it. That's why.
Have to choose an African name, African American name, because we watch Cooley High, Brockton, and all these things.
This nigga mentioned the Mac. Did this nigga mention the Mac and Cooley High? What is he talking about?
We knew the names have changed just as the lifestyles have changed also. So yes, of course, we read it in high school. We knew about.
But what was the gist of what? Because my whole point of bringing this up is, the media and the world of the power of America. Let's just like you mentioned those movies. Those movies depicted, Black people in a certain way, but we're ignoring the fact that Black people are foundational Black Americans are being pictured as criminals, your enemy, everything anger, everything evil, everything is boiled in. So when you guys hear that from wherever you're from, you come here,
you know what is funny?
And have that same
You know what is funny? I'll tell you this. In Africa,
They need to stop being so nice and soft, respectfully. They need to stop letting him cut him off. Dave checked him, but the other three, they just keep letting him go. They need to cut him off and stop letting him cut them off. Look at this nigga, bro. Like, this is who y'all arguing with. I don't know, man. Maybe it's me, my nigga. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping.
New York has many Africans. Ask any African who is over 50 years old or 60 years old to name one negative thing we heard back in Africa about African Americans. Zero.
So
Zero.
where does that come? Cause
he said that Africans didn't hear nothing negative about Black Americans. Cap. That's cap. He lying.
African people on the show say that their parents gave them the talk when they came over here. Stay away from those Black Americans. They're just going to get you pregnant. They drugged it. So where did that white supremacist talking point about Black Americans come from with Africans and even some Caribbeans?
Yeah. So you have social media, right?
Before social media.
No. I'm talking about, listen.
You're talking about today. This has been going on for centuries.
No, you asked me about what we knew about African Americans back in the... And I'm telling you, we never knew one negative thing about African Americans.
Cap.
Never. Now, let me make it clear so you can understand. Start from 1957, when W.E.B. Du Bois moved to Ghana. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Maya Angelou moved and lived there for 14 years. Ghana became, or West Africa became the Mecca for African Americans. Not one has any bad message when they come back here. So we were only knowing things and we were copying your style. You made dashiki become even attractive to us to wear it. Platform shoes and all that. We followed today, any barber shop in Africa, you don't see any African. It is all, Ice-T and all these people. Only when we arrived here, then we see it for ourselves, what we see.
So you follow the white supremacist mindset when you guys got here. That's what I'm hearing.
What is that?
Because I mean, the hatred that's put upon or frowned upon, Black Americans.
By who?
What?
No, by Africans?
Africans.
Oh,
people of Caribbean. My father's Jamaican.
Oh, no,
I hear it in that household too,
yes,
brother.
Yes.
So I know there's not coming over here and then saying.
Jocelyn, thank you for the $20 donation. Jocelyn says, keep up the good work. Jocelyn, I got you. Thank you for the $20 donation, Jocelyn. WJ in the chat. Jocelyn, thank you again, love. I appreciate the $20 donation.
Embracing, hey, I got a black brother, I have a black sister.
Yeah.
It's more like,
Shout out to Jocelyn.
I heard what they said.
Oh yeah.
And I agree with them.
Yes.
Y'all some niggas over there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's the problem.
In one of my episodes, I ended it by saying, I talk about how we started worshiping African Americans when we were in Africa. All my classmates, you are not going to have a name. You pick one of the movie names. I knew about Isaac Hayes, the Black Moses. I met him when I came here. It's like a legend standing in front of me. Okay. So we copied African Americans before we came here.
Right.
I ended the episode by saying, when we got here, we stay away from you because we see too much of us in you.
What? This nigga, what?
Stay away from you because episode by saying, when we got here, we stay away from you because we see too much of us in you. So now, here is what I was saying from the beginning. Why don't you ask me why, when you arrive here, you don't unite with us? Then you concluding that you hate us, white supremacy's talking point. Well, our eyes can see things.
No, you got it backwards. The thing is, the Civil Rights Movement, specifically the Immigration and Nationality Act, not saying that all Black Americans did was just fight for Africans to come over here and Caribbeans come over here. No, but that was the Civil Rights Movement was something that was beneficial for everybody, no matter wherever you was from. If you was an outsider, if you was in America, it was a beneficial for everybody. We civilized this country. What a lot of Black Americans thought was going to happen was that you people were going to come over here and you were going to have the same mentality and assimilate with us. That's not what happened. You came over here and you had an assimilation to whiteness. That is our issue, and that's always been our issue. I say all the time, and I know everybody don't agree with this, but I say all the time, I don't have an issue with Africans or Caribbeans. I know some cool Africans and Caribbeans. I don't have no issue with you being an African or a Caribbean. I have an issue with you being a tether. A tether is an action. That's been my issue, and that's always been my issue, and that's gonna always forever be my issue. I don't like you tether. So what we started to notice is y'all didn't have the same camaraderie that we thought y'all was gonna have. And us being ignorant, we assume that y'all would, but we have to understand that y'all don't have the same history of us. Y'all aren't the same as us. So y'all don't have the same connection to, you know, wanting to fight back that we do, because you literally fled. So we got to think about that. Like, who are we actually trying to align with? And we try to align with the people who didn't have any alignment with us. That is why we have the response that we have. And you can miss me with the whole, I got caught an African booty scratcher in the 4th grade. Everybody got roasted in the 4th grade. Everybody got roasted in high school. If you was fat, if you was ugly, skinny, if your hairline was messed up, you was going to get roasted. So you can miss me with that, whoever's going to try to bring that up. You guys caught this African booty scratcher. You said they live in that tree, nigga. You probably do, but this is a joke, nigga. We roasting. That's just what we do in Black American culture. We roast each other. So there is no talk. I said this before. We talking about the talk that they get. Do not to mess with the Akata. Do not to mess with the Jadir. Like, there is no talk that Black Americans have to say, don't mess with the Africans. We don't have that talk. Y'all have that talk. Just right then and there, you see that that's where the difference comes in at. Y'all have a talk from your parents or grandparents to stay away from the Akata. And if you don't know what Akata is, it's basically a bastardized person. It's a bastard child, a child with no homeland, or a child with no father, or a child with no connection to anything. Now, Akata means different things across Africa, but specifically in West Africa, they use Akata to be a demeaning term towards us. In East Africa, they use the term Jarir, or Jadir, is I guess the right way you say it. So there is a negative disposition that y'all already have towards us. We don't have that towards y'all. We've never have. We are the ones who was, promoting the dashiki stuff. You just said it. The black and I'm proud. Like, we made those things cool, which is we made you guys want to associate and even call yourselves black. So the onus should be on y'all to come over here with the right mentality, because we're not coming over to your house. You coming over to our house. That's the difference. So you just, again, tether babble and babble. Let's keep going. Oh, damn, I didn't mean to do that. Where was I at, sir? I think I was right here.
Black started going to her.
Mm-hmm. Of
So
course.
on the continent, the same thing you say here. Oh, you started business in Nigeria. Your own family and friends are going to bring you down. What?
Damn, where was I at? So I think I just lost my point. Hold on.
Only when we arrived here, then we see it for ourselves, what we see.
So you follow the white supremacy.
Okay, I found it. I think we back on that.
Africans,
Africans,
Oh,
people
okay.
of Caribbean. What?
No, by Africans.
Africans,
Oh,
people
okay.
of
I know what-
sister.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, I heard what they said, and hey, I got a black brother, I have a black sister. There's not coming over here and then saying, embracing, hey, I got a black brother, I have a black sister.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, I heard what they said.
Oh yeah.
And I agree with them.
Yes.
Y'all some niggas over there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's the problem.
In one of my episodes, I ended it by saying I talk about how we started worshiping African Americans when we were in Africa. All my classmates, you are not going to have a name. You pick one of the movie names. I knew about Isaac Hayes, the Black Moses. I met him when I came here. It's like a legend standing in front of me. Okay, so we copied African Americans before we came here. I ended the episode by saying, when we got here, we stay away from you because we see too much of us in you.
Virgo, thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate you, Virgo. Shout out to Virgo. Thank you for the $10, Virgo. Thank you, love. Shout out to Virgo.
So now, here is what I was saying from the beginning. Why don't you ask me why, when you arrive here, you don't unite with us? Then you concluding that you hate us, white supremacy's talking point. Well, our eyes can see things. So ask me, why is it so?
Yeah, I mean,
And I will ask you, how many times have you tried to go visit us on the continent?
oh, well, if my resources was as good as
Resources, you rich than I am.
how?
You're not? Okay.
How?
You're flashy, by the way.
How?
Fine.
What's flash?
It's the leather pants.
Oh,
bro.
it's leather pants. Okay. At $16.99 H&M. Go get you a pair. You know what I'm saying, my brother? You know, just because I'm stylish don't mean nothing. You
You're
get what I'm saying?
stylish. You're stylish. Look, what I'm trying to say is this. I'm not afraid. I ended the episode by saying,
Yeah.
I loved African Americans. When I was coming here, I'm telling you the truth. My mom, my dad, my people, nobody told me stay away. Do you know my first wife is an African American? She's now the superintendent of schools here.
So when did that change then?
When we arrived here, we saw too much of us in you and we stayed away.
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you
When
mean
you
by
say
that?
too much of us and you,
The
specific.
violence, the meanness, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the killing of each other, the dishonesty, the anger. Look, let me tell you, if I go home, this guy you see here, I'll live like Michael Jackson. I have money to live like a king in Africa. Why do you think I'm still here? The snow? Or the taxes? Because I don't want to go back and take what I see here.
Yeah, that's cap. Majority of Black Americans ain't robbing and stealing and killing. Again, this is the white supremacist mindset that he has.
So
This is why you cannot function with these people. This is exactly why you cannot connect with these people.
Don't you
Thank you, family. We don't care. Like we don't even care.
say it yourself? Come on. Don't you say it all the time? African Americans are a crap in a bucket. They don't support each other's business. They don't come together to do. So why are you blaming that on me? You've said it yourself. I heard it from you.
Yeah, but
And the same thing.
Yeah, but that's called accountability. That is not specific to any type of group of people. When you want to be accountable for your own, that's different. So what you're trying to say is because it's something can exist and there's a possibility for it to exist, then that means that it exists for everybody or the majority. No, that's not what we're saying. So I can sit up here and talk about crime and gangs in the communities, but that doesn't mean that the average Black American in the community is in a crime is in a gang or causing crime. You understand that logic? So that's what he's trying to say. Because y'all say crabs in a barrel mentality, or you talk about something, then that means that that's happening for everybody or the majority, and it's not.
You're saying it's over there. A Chinese lady just opened a hair shop next to 3 Ghanaians in Accra. It's all on YouTube.
Immigrants
All the
come
blacks-
blessed in America. I'll tell you that.
All the blacks started going to her.
Of
So
course.
on the continent, the same thing you say here. Oh, you start a business in Nigeria, your own family and friends are going to bring you down. What you're saying here, we are saying it there. When I moved to Kenya, the same thing I keep hearing. So I love to ask why.
I
Why-
think
why was it?
you're overlooking. A lot of people overlook the success and achievements that y'all so fixated on the negative. Black
you.
Americans,
We
we are.
copied it from you. Your music says it. What is the name of the guy with the glass eye? Something white. He's on.
Charleston White.
He says it. Cosby says it.
This nigga mentioned Charleston White, who is literally a public troll who pays publicists so he can go on interviews, so he can say the most radical stuff, so he can start getting paid for going. Let me give you all some backstory on Charleston White real quick. Charleston White is a clown. I don't take Charleston White seriously. I don't even get upset at the stuff he say. He's Charleston White. I don't take him seriously. Let me see how Charleston White came to fame. Charleston White came to fame by paying publicists to be successful. So what he did was he paid publicists to get him on interviews. That's what he did during COVID. I guess he probably got a lot of PPP money or PUA money, whatever that is. He paid publicists to get him on interviews. So he said the most radical stuff on interviews so that he can go from paying to be on interviews to now being paid to be on interviews. And that's exactly what he did. And it ended up working out for him. So the fact that he brought up Charleston White as his example of like, this is what I mean, of like somebody who is very just, who say anything for attention. Like Charleston White dude, that's not the average black American. But again, this is what I mean. It's just, again, I feel like it's like I'm pausing at the perfect moment. This is who we talking to. Like, need I say more, my nigga? Come on, man. This is who we talking to. This is who we talking to.
You've written books about it. We hear it from you first. We were focusing on your success when we see you come to Africa. Okay? Mm-hmm. We never had a problem. Have you heard any African American tell you, I went to and they did this to me? But do you know what we have gone through in the hands of African Americans here in America? How many times a white man has called me a booty scratcher? But I can tell you when I go to high schools to speak, that's what they call me, laughing.
He's still stuck on the booty scratcher stuff. He mad as hell. Yeah, nigga, we gonna roast you. This nigga still stuck on booty scratcher. I knew he was gonna bring it up. I knew he was gonna bring up booty scratcher, my nigga.
So you think it's just you?
But
so I'm asking you.
I hate that analogy.
From the other place, who is now here observing the two people, ask me the questions, then making conclusions that we are just following white supremacy talking point. No, we're not.
Well, hold on. Let me step in here for a minute. I hear where Frank is coming from, but again, there has to be just a little bit of a shift, right? Because two things that are very, very important. My man said he loved Cooley High. Right.
By the way, we called everybody African booty scratchers, not just Africans. Like we called everybody an African booty scratcher. And my sister used to call me an African booty scratcher. Like we used to call each other that wasn't like, come on, man.
He said that.
And you're hearing that from kids. Not to mention, he also has an accent. So you didn't even grow up here. You got an accent. You didn't grow up in here. So when you say we was called African booty scratchers, when did you get here? You have an accent from another country. You didn't grow up here. So you wasn't called an African booty scratcher. What are you talking about?
Because two things that are very, very important. My man said he loved Cooley High, right? He said that, we made dashikis and platforms, cool afros and bell bottoms, whole nine, iced tea on the wall, boom, boom, boom. Wonderful. He's right. Cosby did say it. Pull up your pants, all that good stuff. He's absolutely right. Our music says it. He's absolutely right. Our television says it. Am I in the right ballpark? Cool. How much of that did we produce?
Of what?
All of those things. All the media that you're speaking of. Who?
Media? No, I live in Bridgeport.
No.
It's a first-hand experience for me.
No. I don't want to move the goalposts. I want to talk about exactly what you said when it comes to the music, the books, the TV shows, the movies. Those things are media.
Okay, sure. How many of that?
How much of that did we produce and distribute?
Oh, I don't know who wrote the lyrics for Tupac or who wrote the lyrics for B.I.G.
No.
The producer is saying, bring your product and I will just produce it. You went with Smoke Niggas Like a Cigarette. He produced it. You're blaming the medium.
No.
David, let's get real.
Oh, I am getting real. Here's what I know.
So I come to you and I bring my lyric.
Right.
Clive Davis produced, what is her name?
Whitney
right?
Houston.
Okay. Either she sang people's songs, you could say, no, this song, I don't want to sing it because I want to protect the dignity of my people.
Oh,
but you write your lyrics, you take it to the guy, he said, great, your people love this. You said, yes, I produce you.
I would
do the same.
Truth. But here's a fun fact you don't know about me, Frank. When I was a kid, I used to sing backgrounds for Teddy Pendergrass and people like that. I grew up in the music industry.
Teddy, wow.
Yeah. Gerald Levert.
Wow.
I'm the youngest person to re-record The Twist with Chubby Checker. Like, I've been around the music business for a very formidable part of my life. I also was a radio programmer. I also ran CBS in Austin. I also put Ricky Smiley in the syndication. I worked with Wendy Williams, DJ Clue, so on and so forth. I can tell you from firsthand experience, and I defy anybody who watches this to tell me I'm lying, that we do not get to pick what records make. See, when somebody makes a record, you might not know this because you're not in the industry. When somebody makes a record, they can make a bunch of songs. Marvin Gaye and Barry Gordy because Barry Gordy was answering to palm-colored people at this particular point in history, had an issue because Marvin Gaye wanted to sing what's going on and start reaching his people a different way. And what Barry Gordy wanted was, I wasn't bitter, nothing. He wanted the fun stuff. He didn't want anything, too controversial because he didn't think it was going to sell. When you make an album, it's usually anywhere from 30 to 100 songs. Out of that 30 to 100 songs, they pick 12. And when you look at it, the people who are making it's funny you said Clive Davis, because Clive Davis is also responsible for B.I.G. because Clive Davis distributed Bad Boy, and then after him, you had Jimmy Iovine distributed Bad Boy, and Death Row. At different points in history, the point of it is when the people, the board that are not us. Statistically and historically, because I defy you to find a major record company, a major media platform that is owned by us. No. We don't get a say. We can make 1,000,001 songs. I have sat in meetings with people who were signing record deals and they were like, yeah, we like this, but no more of this. You can't talk about this, that, and the third. And if you say no, you know what there is? There is a line of foundational Black Americans who all want to buy their mama a house and the only thing they know how to do is rap. The only thing they know how to do is make beats. Yeah. And so once the product gets in their hands, it's not about what we want. Because if you go back, you were here, 1992. Were you here? Right? No, you weren't 92, here. Yes. 92. Do you know what the #1 record on the radio in 1992 was? Oh, geez. It was. I'll save you the trouble. It's Public Enemy, Fight the Power. And that's when the Rodney King verdict happened. And that's when folks were rioting and they said, never before, never again. And they made a distinct, and when I say they, I'm talking about the major media companies said, we're not going to allow this to happen ever again. So they decide what goes out. They own the radio stations. They own the billboards. They own the distribution channels. They have global distribution that has absolutely nothing to do with I bring my lyrics, because there have been plenty of people who blame.
Sean, thank you for the $20 donation, man. Shout out to Sean, always showing love, man. He said good afternoon, and likewise, Sean. Appreciate you for the $20, Sean. Appreciate you, fam. Shout out to Sean, man. Appreciate you, OG.
Bought lyrics. Okay, right. Last point, and I'll land my plane. You're familiar with Tyler Perry, are you not? Okay. Do you know what his lowest grossing movie was? It's a movie that shows a responsible foundational Black American man who had 2 daughters. Like, I got my 2 daughters and I take care of my 2 daughters. But that is not what sells. How many times have you turned on the news and heard a foundational Black American businessman went home to his wife and 2 daughters today and absolutely nothing bad happened? But you'll hear about all the grapes, and take the G off, you know what I'm saying? Yep. You'll hear about all the unalivings. You will hear about all the stabbings. You'll hear about all the drug raids. You'll hear about absolutely everything. Because we are the only people who do not own and control our narrative. We get to perform. We do not get to collect. We get to put it out. They get to produce it and decide the message that goes out into the world.
Yeah, business works like that, of course. I remember long back that we were dancing to Nat King Cole, we were dancing to Ella Fitzgerald, we were dancing to Satchmo, we were dancing to, Herbie Hancock and all these Black people. Yeah. You understand? And there was no violence and dirty language in it, but it was the same producers. In fact, back then, you can say there was no Bad Boy, there was no Death Row, there was no Young Money. Now you have it, and you're still writing the bad lyrics. This is what I understand about the culture. Cultures have gatekeepers. Did you wear the t-shirt? Did you dance to the song? Did you buy it? Did you allow him to remain in your neighborhood? Well, you promoted it. So don't blame the guy over there. If you're going to sell your dignity, as you said, so your lyrics can sell, well, you choose, because you don't have a culture that has a gatekeeper. But I promise you one thing, the people I have lived among in Asia, they will never let you back again into the community if you're going to sing songs about our women that way or make videos.
This is the difference. They also run their own media. This is the part that he's continuing to miss. They run their own media outlets and their own media companies and news companies. We don't run these things. We know the community that runs the media outlets and the hip hop labels and all of these other stuff. So he's not making these. It's the same example of how like Africans get depicted from these little infomercials at 4 a.m. and they got some big stomach African boy with flies on his face, and he eating rice and eating like just unseasoned, barely cooked chicken. And that's who, because you paid him 5 cents a day. Like, that's what, it's the same thing applies, because they control the media. They control what they want to push. We know that that's not all Africa. We know all Africans don't have some big poked out chests and nappy hair and a bunch of just, you know, flies on their face and all of that, and they just look dirty and disgusting. We understand that, but he's not going to bring that up, or he doesn't understand that perspective. So come on now, like they understand, they control their own media. We don't.
Videos with our women. Didn't you allow it? You did. So I don't like to blame who produced.
Good point.
So at
Great
what point, at one point, by that same logic, if it's just business, slavery was just business, Jim Crow was just business, segregation was just business, poll taxes was just business. All of it is just business. But the truth of the matter is there is irreparable harm, and to act like that irreparable harm does not exist and lay it on the artist and not on the people who go looking for those particular artists. When I was coming up, when I got my
master teachers, Dr. Claude Anderson, refers to us as foundational black Americans as exceptional group of black folks. We are not like no other people. The WS brings these status as a buffer to hide their racism, and they go along to get along.
Facts, Lance. Facts, Lance. Dr. Claude Anderson is somebody that I definitely look up to. He started everything about us really standing on, you know, lineage business. So shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson and facts, Lance. Lance, thank you for the $25 donation. Shout out to Lance. We had 300 for the day. W Lance in the chat, man. I appreciate you, Lance. Much love to you, Lance. I appreciate that.
right? There was a department. It was called Artist and Repertoire. The average bear calls it A&R. And you had to go out and you would develop talent over time. Now, that's not what happens. They want the most ratchet, the most gutter, the most despicable situation they can possibly have. And when we do own it and we get too old and we're like, you know what, I want to retire, they back up the Brinks truck and they take us out of the game. When you look at what happened when BET got sold by Bob Johnson.
My bad about if the donation thing was echoing, it should be fixed now. I just turned down the donation sound, so it should be fixed now. So when y'all donate it shouldn't echo no more. But Lance, thank you for the $25 donation, man. I appreciate you again, Lance. And good point.
Over to Viacom, which is now Paramount or whatever the heck they are this week. Do you know the first things they did? No. The first thing they did was they got rid of the news, because the news was showing us in not only what was happening bad in our communities, but what was happening positively in our communities, highlighting. They got rid of Ed Gordon so fast it made your head swim. And right after that, they kicked Tavis Smiley out. Then they got rid of Teen Summit because you had a bunch of positive kids who were being examples, Black kids being examples of what to be, what you could aspire to. So you take all the hope out of a situation. These are historical facts. This isn't conjecture. You take all the hope out of a situation and you continue to promote hopelessness. There is a distinct line that starts in the summer of 1992 and continues on, because if it bleeds, it leads. You got a mass comm degree. I got a mass comm degree. Hell, I was a mass comm professor at Temple University. You know as well as I do that sensation always sells, and nothing sells more than anything else. You know what a gaper delay is, right? A gaper delay. So pretend you're in traffic.
This nigga don't know nothing.
Right? Whether you're on 95, the
Dave
Tennessee Bridge,
cooking,
wherever
man.
you are, and there's a delay in traffic, and you can't figure out what it is. And so you're driving up, and all of a sudden you see that there's somebody with a bad accident. Their arm is off, or their head's rolling down, and your mouth is agape. People are slowing down because they want to see it.
Yeah.
It's a gaper delay. We have been programmed, all Americans, regardless of skin color, to ingest a diet of negativity. But the biggest producers of negativity without any balance, or the biggest group of people that have negativity without any balance by design, are foundational Black Americans. And we're the only culture in America that has that.
I keep saying the same thing. I would ask the same question. You would say, this person did this to me. I would say, why did it work? The propensity must be there.
Okay, so by that logic, he's saying this person did something to me, and his response is, well, why did it work? So by that logic, then, if a woman gets sexually assaulted against her will, right, he's going to respond and say, because if the woman says, yeah, this man did something to me and why did it work, he doesn't care about context. He doesn't care about like strength differences. He don't care about none of that. It's just you allowed it, so you just happen. Things that are of your control is different. That's different. That is something that I can agree on. But he's not talking about stuff that's under your control. He's talking about things that are out of your control. So if if lightning come down from the sky and light your ass up, well, why did you allow it? Nigga, I can't control lightning. That shit is I don't know when that's gonna happen. If somebody run up in your house and slaughter your whole family, well, why did you allow it? Well, maybe it was 4 a.m. and I was asleep and they snuck in the window and I didn't know he was there and he, whatever. Like that, like, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. It'd be different if it was something that you can control, but this is something that you cannot control. This is something that you have no, you are just, unfortunately, you are unmanned, you undermanned. So you have to deal with whatever is going to come with it because it's done by force. He doesn't understand that though, because he's not intelligent at all. He's just speaking from his own perspective, but he wouldn't talk about this about Africa.
Before the
He is
stimulus
goofy,
was
man.
introduced. Now, if you do not, my grandfather told me something. He said, anything that happens to you, forget about the result. It's unpleasant, unfortunate. Do not focus on what happened.
Oh, damn. Now the sound ain't even come up. I'm loving your growth. My channel is new. Check it out when you have the time. B1 Flyer Social. I appreciate you for the $25 donation. Shout out to Flyer Social. I don't know why the sound didn't pop up. I turned on the donos, but it should play it, regular. But this dono sound might just echo a little bit, y'all. But Flyer Sound, I appreciate you for the $25 donation. Thank you, Flyer Sound. I appreciate you, Flyer. Much love to you, Flyer. Thank you for the donation. Why did it work for Africa? Exactly.
Happened to me.
W Flyer, shout out to Flyer. Appreciate the donos, y'all. We at 325. Let's try to hit this 500, y'all. We almost there. We only 175 from this 500. I appreciate y'all for the donos, man. Much love to y'all. Let's keep going.
Everybody knows what happened to you, and you know what happened to you. Ask, why was I susceptible to it? And from that day, nobody can mess with you.
I think it's not that simple. All right.
No, I know it's not that
look,
simple.
The traffic light was created by a black man, right?
Right.
You know what they did? They started making tickets for people at red lights. The light bulb was created by a black man. They started making Con Edison bills. Like everything. The cell phone was created by.
I am saying
what I'm saying. It's
You
not
have
that
to ask
you can't
yourself.
make it that simple. If we
What I
created all these
explained-
things and they add a bill to what we created. You get what
Look,
I'm
man,
saying?
I cannot defend what you have just listed. I have no proof of it. I have no name of it. If Black Americans are fewer than Africans, is that not true? Wait,
Huh? Say that
Certainly.
again.
the population of African Americans in America is like one country in Africa, isn't it?
Certainly.
Okay. So if all these abilities to do all these things, why always the invention is African American and never anything happens where you came from?
We repeat the question because I know
Let me repeat the question so it's clear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Africa has almost 1.2 billion people, 54 countries.
Yes.
All right. African Americans,
It's actually like 1.8 billion. If you Google it, I think it's 1.8 billion, not 1.2.
13%, maybe 54 million, right? All right. If these abilities you keep naming, that you can build a country like America, you can invent all the things.
Yeah.
Right.
Why the people from whom you came, why are they not doing it?
because they don't got the same pedigree as the black people in America are the richest black nation on earth. We're the most successful black nation on earth. We don't have the resource. We can't leverage resources like they do in Africa. We built.
I'm asking about the ability for you to do the things he listed. Why are they not doing it on the continent? If it's
I can't
innate
speak of the continent. I can only speak about black Americans in this country. Like this is what we did in this country with less resources, with the less, and we still accomplished more than anybody in the diaspora.
Well, then what is the complaint about the white supremacists?
Here's the complaint about the white.
What? First of all, he just destroyed his own point. But I want Dave to respond and kill dude, man.
Supremacy.
And you are the richest nation on earth, and you've done all these
Because
things.
even with
Why
white supremacy, we
then
still
do we-
accomplished more than anybody in the diaspora.
I understand. Then where is the problem we are
Here's the
here
problem.
talking about?
Here's the problem. We are the only group
Why
in
are you
America.
complaining?
Shannon, thank you for the $20 donation. Shannon says, keep up the good work, young man. I appreciate you, Shannon. Thank you for the love and the support. Shout out to Shannon. Shout out to Shannon. Shout out to Shannon. Appreciate you again, Shannon. Thank you.
We are
Here's the
here talking
problem.
about.
Here's the problem. We are the only group
Why
in
are you
America.
complaining if
It's
you
not a
just say
complaint,
now
it's a
that
statement
no,
of
I
fact.
mean him. You are the richest nation on earth. I agree with you. And we have done all these things and accomplished all these things. Then why are we talking about somebody did something?
Here's
Life
why.
is just going on. You're going to be better more. Talk about what is here so the kids can hear it. pointed that to them. You are pronouncing and highlighting, you're the one making it that the kids are demoralized by these narratives. And I refuse to participate in that because the day I knew I'm just a different person, I'm an accidental
Get
citizen.
off my rug. And we do talk about it. That's what we talk about all the time. That's what we put it in the movies. We put it in on social media. We talk about these things all the time. We always talk about the positivity of our history. And it actually furthers our point for the fact that we are the richest, that black term, we know who black and who it pertains to and who it means. But if we want to use it in a racial construct, I guess we are the richest black country. We are the richest group of black people. We do have the most billionaires, we have the most millionaires, we have the most intellectuals, we have the most inventors, we have the most everything when it comes to black Americans. So, and that comes under the foot of being oppressed. So imagine if that wasn't the case. So you damn right we have something to talk about because everything we have, we worked for. Think about how you sound. Everything we have, we worked for. It wasn't no handout. We had to go out there and get it. So you damn right we're going to talk about it because we have every right to talk about it because we put in the work. Your community, Franc Zanu, you didn't put in the work for it. You had to flee and go over to the UK and go over to Asia and come to America to now sit on a podcast and not in your tribal attire talking about some nonsense. Come on, man.
Of this earth. I didn't choose my skin color. I didn't choose my tribe. I didn't choose my nation. I didn't choose my race. What is there for me to defend anyway? Knowing that I'm an accidental being here,
you projecting
I get along
real
with
bad,
anybody.
man.
Sure.
Based on me. That's it. And I'm tall, handsome, and happy. That's when I respond when people ask me, how are you?
Ladies, he said he tall, handsome, and happy. Go ahead and shoot your shot, man.
What is the headache? What is it?
I think
What is wrong?
I think the issue is the lack of respect that we get from
You feel
everybody
it.
else.
You
Yeah.
said so.
Mhm.
When I came to this country, there was one word common among gangbangers. Yo, you disrespected me. What the heck is that? It's an abstract noun. You can't even see it. You hang
What? So disrespect came from, he said he heard the term disrespect from gangbangers. Man, this
on
nigga
to
is
abstract
crazy.
nouns and kill people over it. How do you know you've been disrespected? What does it do to you? Did I pinch you? Did I hit you on the head?
I mean,
What
you're
is
flipping
it?
it
Wait.
but
let me tell you.
only because you mentioned being called African booty scratcher
scratcher.
affected
Exactly.
your mindset.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I didn't end by saying. I said only African Americans did it to me. Did I tell you it affected me? It didn't. I still took kids
So then why bring it up then if it didn't affect you?
Okay, so you
to Africa.
take you out of it, right? You talking about the millions of Africans is here. It didn't affect them because that's the one thing they always come and say.
I don't know.
It's a through line.
Oh, now he
I'm
don't
only
know.
telling you about what happened.
Now he don't know. Notice that. Now he doesn't know, which gives the opportunity for if someone did say that they did feel the way, he would justify it. But if it's us, it's how do you know you disrespected? Now he don't know. He just caught him in his own BS at this point. He just caught up in his own BS, man. Now he don't know.
I was in Kenya, and this Sudanese girl,
Dude, goofy.
I was
man.
online, and I met her online. So finally, we met in person, and she said to me, "You know, I knew you're from America, but I knew you were not an African American. That's why I agreed to meet with you." And I said, "Why would you say that?" And she told me her story. She's a refugee in Kenya, tall, and so she got a scholarship to come and play here in Maryland. I don't know which school she went to, a high school.
Okay.
She said every day she cried. She can't go to the locker room because of the black players, basketball girls. So one day they played against a white team. One of the white girls saw that she was not in a good mood and asked her, and she told her. Her mother, the white girl's mother, came to the school and made sure that she took this girl out to go to a different school. She said the last 2 years in America, among all white, not that I didn't miss my black people, was the best I ever had. They call me Doc. They call me names. The one Blackson used to joke about. He said all that. He said, I cry every day. Listen, I am not blaming. I'm only telling you, saying it is back home.
Mm-hmm.
This is my people I'm among. And I can tell you, I have a credibility. I'm from the continent where my great-grandfathers and mothers were taken from, and I'm among them. So I see more than you see. But you say disrespected us. What disrespect? Why should that matter?
It doesn't matter. But the thing of it is that I need you to understand, if any other group in this country gets disrespected by whatever measurement they feel. For example, Kyrie Irving. You familiar with Kyrie Irving?
who talk about he sent a link of a Jews documentary.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct. On Amazon, last I checked, Jeff Bezos wasn't exactly a foundational Black American. Kyrie Irving did not produce that documentary.
No.
Kyrie Irving did not star in that documentary.
That's right.
He just said, hey, this looks interesting.
Yeah.
What did the Anti-Defamation League do to Kyrie Irving?
They asked him to go to 5 classes and learn about Jewish sensitivity.
What else?
Pay some fees, become friends with the rabbis, take a lesson, and he was like, yes, sir,
Right.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
All because they felt
Mhm.
disrespected because he tweeted something. Because there is an infrastructure there in order to punish people that
Yeah.
feel that they feel like have disrespected them.
Mhm.
And the irony is these are the same folks who will say that we're not like that. We don't run this. We don't punish people. We don't terrorize people. And then they go out of their way to make demands and sanctions on the very people that they say are disrespecting them or anti them by forcing them to do certain things.
Yeah.
Therein lies the difference. And so I want to answer the real question you asked, and I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me, but it's like, well, what is the problem when it comes to this? If we can do all of this, then what is the issue? Are you familiar with Eli Whitney?
Give me a look.
Okay, Eli Whitney was a landmass slave owner
Mhm.
who said he invented something called the cotton gin. The cotton gin was a machine that cleaned and picked cotton and basically expanded slavery and cotton manufacturing by about 400 to 4,000%, depending on which estimation you have. The thing about that is Eli Whitney was an educated white man. The term cotton gin is pidgin English for cotton engine.
Mhm.
Black slaves created it, but a white man monetized it. You can't name one foundational Black American invention that has not been co-opted, cashed in, or monetized by white hands. And that is the unique disparity that nobody wants to talk about. It's not about a white man holding me down, because ain't no white man holding me down. Ain't no white man holding me back.
Yeah.
My daughter's sitting right there. She will tell you every dime of her tuition I paid out of state at Howard University, $186,383.63 out of my pocket.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of what we can't do. It's a matter of what happens when we do certain things, and it becomes harder. And historically, we're unique amongst that, even to this day, right? We talk about what Clive Davis did with Whitney Houston, but Whitney Houston was a kid from the projects who smoked cigarettes and had a cocaine habit. Those are facts. That's not disparagement. The other part of that is we never talk about what Clive Davis did to Milli Vanilli, because those were young Black men, but they looked a certain way and they were too pretty. But we have these big old fat Black guys that can really sing. So we're going to have them sing, but we're going to put Milli Vanilli up. And then when it got discovered that the scam was happening, Clive Davis didn't lose a Grammy. Milli Vanilli did. Clive Davis wasn't shunned. Milli Vanilli was. Clive Davis went on and made Bad Boy, made J Records, gave Usher a record deal, built LaFace Records, did everything he wanted to do without any consequence or recompense to what he did to those young boys who were out front through no fault of their own, who were forced into that situation, and the fat Black kids who were in the back singing. When you don't control the media, when you don't control the message, when you don't control the invention, when you don't have the ability to freely monetize the creation, how can you ever dominate?
No, I don't know. I can answer that question.
I do.
Therein lies the
There's a lot of this.
I do want to interject because we still got a couple of more questions to go
Yeah,
through.
sure.
Jew, I know you had a topic that you wanted to get
Yeah.
into.
Okay. So when you hear the word tether, do you feel like, or do you believe that is a word to just, separate non-Black Americans from foundational Black Americans, or do you believe it's more of on the line of a hateful speech?
No, I don't consider anything as a hateful speech. I don't. I know that people, use words.
Would you consider yourself the same along the lines tether?
As a tether,
Yeah.
it's a grammar. I mean, I don't know how people define it.
Well, basically, they say on the lines of non-Black Americans that benefit from Black Americans, but talk down on Black
Oh, that's
Americans.
what tether means?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They must have a reason.
Tether.
Yeah, they must have a reason to say that.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't be offended by that.
Right.
but I'm saying, would you consider yourself that you benefit from the labor of Black Americans being here, the opportunity, and then
Oh, I don't know.
and you speak down on Black Americans
No.
as well as
Okay, let me go to
other
the tether.
people.
Let me go to the tether word.
Yeah.
You see, this is the problem.
Mhm.
I'm not speaking down. Stop using the word. We are having a very heated discussion.
Okay.
These are my views, and I'm sharing them
Right.
about a certain people who are close to me. It's
Okay.
not speaking down. This is where the violence starts.
Mm-hmm.
So let me answer
Yeah.
to your theta. I came to this country with money.
Mm-hmm.
My school fees didn't come from the United States government.
Got
It
you.
was paid through my former employer. So I brought $148,000 to the University of Bridgeport to study. All right. And I have remained in this country. I raised my hand and I swore oath to the white government to say, I want to be a naturalized citizen. And he accepted me. I've worked my butt off, in corporate, my own, in non-profit, and now my destiny. So I don't know what you mean by benefit. No, I worked myself just like I work in many countries, places where there were no Black people, but I succeeded. I lived in
Mhm.
Japan for 4 years. I've lived in China, Malaysia, Indonesia, everywhere. So it's no different from my hard work
Yeah, we talked about the lay across. We already talked about it.
and my attitude to be in this country. So I don't want anybody to tell me that I came here to benefit from anybody. So if somebody called me a feather, I'll say he must have a good reason to call me that. That shouldn't make an enemy at all for me and another person.
But I mean, it's still a benefit to come to the country because you wouldn't have came here if it wasn't a benefit, right?
What benefit?
Well, why did you come here?
I came here to go to school and I stayed. Just like any place else. My freedom to choose any place, including the desert, if I want to.
But you came here because there was more opportunity here.
I came here to go to school. I stayed. I told you. I could go home and live big.
Mhm.
But I don't want to deal with the headache of what I'll get at home.
Mhm.
So this is the country I choose to live in. Okay.
So
Go ahead.
there's 2 points I want to make actually. There is some Black Americans that have come to this country, and like you said,
Sunflower, thank you for the $25 donation. I appreciate you, Sunflower. Oh, I didn't even see this. My bad. Angela, thank you for the $19.99. She sent the money like she just bought something. Angela says, first time listener via BAN. Thank you, Angela, for the $19.99. I appreciate that, Angela. We gonna do $3.90. We gonna put on there $3.90. We almost at 500. Angela, thank you so much for the $19.99. And Sunflower, you always coming through. You always showing love. I appreciate you for showing love and supporting the content. Thank you for the $25 donation. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Let's keep it going.
you was already well off financially. So your employer paid you. You already came over.
Just so y'all know, right now what he's doing, he's operating in cognitive dissonance, and he's also throwing red herrings out there again, trying to take away the attention from the initial question that was asked. It's very simple. You were able to benefit, all of you people, not including Africans and Caribbeans. We also going to talk about the Asians. We also going to talk about the white Europeans. We're also going to talk about the Latinos. All of you people were able to benefit through Black American labor, through Black American hard work and hardship. Specifically, we want to get down to it, the civil rights movement. That's why all of you people were able to come over to this country and classify yourself as a so-called citizen or a naturalized citizen. This is why birthright citizenship, which wasn't specifically for y'all, the 13th Amendment was specifically for us. That's what it's always and forever has been. But unfortunately, America has been able to, but America has unfortunately gave everybody else an opportunity to also classify themselves as an American citizen as long as they're born here. You see it a lot of time with a lot of Mexicans. They'll simply just come over to America just to have a child, right? You'll see them come over to America just to have a child, over here illegally, just to have a child. And at that point, on paper, that child is an American citizen, so you can't ship him back home, right? So that is all things that Black Americans fought for. This is what I be meaning when I say these people have never done anything for us, but we've done things for them. We've inadvertently done things for everybody else to have a benefit. And because nobody understands American history, including most Black Americans, we don't understand our own history. We forget these things. We forget all of the work and all of the things that we've done for other people. So when they come over here and denigrate us and be disrespectful, it's like, who you talking to? Because if it wasn't for us, you'll be back home. You will be back home. And you don't want to be back home. There's a reason why he don't want to be back home. Because I don't want to deal with the negativity. We know why. Because it's so funny. You notice how he said, think about what he said earlier. He said, the reason why I, or I guess other Africans, come over to America and we want to stay away from y'all is because we deal with the same thing back home. So why are you over here then if the same thing is happening back home? Like, the same thing is happening back home. So which one is it? Clearly it ain't that bad because you damn sure ain't back home. So clearly you get around us and you get around, you just America in general, and you don't have to deal with it as much. So like clearly something over here is better than what it was back home, because you notice that they continue to ask the question of like, well, you benefited. You're still here off of a benefit, and he's not paying attention to that. Where he is paying attention to it, he just doesn't want to concede to it. But again, he already got caught up multiple times. Dave done already caught him out. I think bro right here, I think his name Jew. You know what I'm saying? He done already caught him out about the whole African booty scratcher stuff and him trying to act like, oh, that's not what they meant. They didn't mean it in bad way. He's just a tether, man. He a lying tether. That's all that it is. Somebody said this is why I support ICE. He denounced his homeland for a country he claims he has no benefit in. Lying ass tether. Lying and changing the narrative. He dies in the question. Man.
With over 100 grand, you said, right, to go to school.
Yes, to pay.
So you already was established coming here. There's some black immigrants that are the same way. They come here established already, and then they come here and then look down upon the Black Americans, just like something we say in Black America. You didn't get it out the mud like how we did. So now some people come over here in the diaspora that are already established, and now they want to say, damn, you know what? You didn't work as hard as me, and they already got a pass. So you get what I'm saying?
They're wrong.
But that's the type of rhetoric. That's when we have the panels. That's the type of rhetoric. Okay, you guys are lazy. You guys are going off of government assistance when you guys came here already established. Some of you guys, I'm not saying all of them.
Okay, let me make it clear. I wasn't already established. Okay, as a reporter,
Coming over here with 100 grand, that's more than most people.
Not my money. Scholarship.
It doesn't matter.
Scholarship given to the United States government because of me doesn't mean my money. So I wasn't established. No, established.
So he thinks that getting $100,000 from your job is not a part of you being established. If you can get $100,000 in scholarship money, $100,000 plus in scholarship money from your job, that is a part of you being established, because it is establishing you to be able to go to school. How do you not see that?
I don't know what it means, but I knew that I was an emotionally stable, well-structured, sophisticated gentleman from Africa. That is all that matters to me. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not interested in the American dream and wealth and house and picket fence and all these flashy cars. Go and see outside what I brought here. 2014 Kia Soul with 188,000 miles on it. I've never bought a brand new car in this country because I don't need it.
No, we know why. We know why you bought that car, because that is the cars y'all be having back home. Y'all be having them little box cars, and we know why. You got a zebra in the back. We know, nigga.
Yeah, neither do I.
Okay? Right. So
every black man don't think he need a Ferrari.
I'm just waiting to die. That's it. And I chose to die in America. What is the point? Like, I got something from somebody. If anything, I begged the white man whose country I came to, and he gave me the citizenship. Not a Japanese, not a Chinese, not an African American.
Mm-hmm. But the reason that
you're talking about things that would make us understand each other. And maybe I thought we would use this to understand, why do people from the Caribbean and Africa come? I have defended, but you see, when I speak about myself, you may think I'm trying to make things up. I used to get very angry when I hear any of the Caribbeans and Africans say things like this about African Americans.
Right.
I have been. There's not a man who will be lying here for that. And I used to say, I give it to the African Americans. They were uprooted, shook so hard there is no soil left for the root to germinate. And yet look at them here. You come from your own place, and we are all messed up out there. So who should I give the credit to?
Well, the other point I do want to make, I want to get to you, Dave. You said that you said out your own mouth that you didn't want to go back and deal with what you have to deal with in your country, right? I think that is the difference between Black Americans, because we stood here and fought. We didn't have that luxury to leave our country and go live somewhere else and benefit off the hard work of other people. You said out your own mouth, I don't want to go back home and deal with what my country is dealing with right now. I'd rather stay over here in America. And I think that's the difference between foundational Black Americans and Black immigrants, is that you guys are leaving your situations instead of staying and fighting and making your situation better.
$25. This guy has delusion of grandeur when it comes to how FBI are the reason why he's even able to bring his $100,000 to our country and benefit. Without us, he wouldn't be able to come here. This guy has cognitive dissonance. This guy is just a tether.
Thank you so much for the $25. Who was that? L Dubs, thank you for the $25. And you 100% right. The same thing I was just saying. It's just another example of having cognitive dissonance. And at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is trying to reason with a person that's unreasonable is just like you wasting your time. You know, Dave, who I feel like is a true intellectual, and regardless if y'all, some of y'all may not agree with what he says, you're not going to agree with nobody. So y'all don't always fully agree with me. You know what I'm saying? Dave is like, he's so up here compared to dude because he's asking him stuff that, like, for you to say you a historian, you should know, and he don't even know like basic stuff. So it's like you trying to reason with somebody that's unreasonable. You know what I'm saying? And like Dave is just he's just on another level of intelligence that Frank just not at. So this whole conversation is just kind of it's a time wasting tether babble troll. Tariq Nasheed talks about this a lot. Time wasting tether babble trolling. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that you can do to try to reason with people that are unreasonable. And he know he being unreasonable. And he would never have this logic with his own people. And that's the crazy part about it. Yeah, L Dubs, I appreciate you again for the $25 donation. Much love to you. I appreciate that.
That way, the citizens don't have to leave and go somewhere else to live a better lifestyle for themselves and their family. You guys chose to go to another country instead of staying and fighting, fixing the corrupt politicians, fixing the economy, fixing the poverty, fixing the crime rate, fixing the educational attainment. You guys chose to leave, especially the brilliant minds. They are leaving their countries to go live elsewhere. That's not something Black Americans have in us. We stood here and fought.
Japan was the #1 economy for about 20-something years until the bubble busted in 1989. Japan, the most beautiful place I have seen on Mother Earth. You won't find a poor person. Denmark, Scandinavia, you won't find. But they migrate here a lot.
What?
So it's not just because people come here everywhere. Their country is bad. Migration is something in people. There are more people back home in my country than
there's a reason people migrate.
So individuals feel a certain way doesn't mean that it's for everybody. So Japanese are here.
Sure.
They could be in Japan, which is very quiet, polite, organized, no crime. I went to LA for a conference. I went to Little Tokyo. They've boarded up every place. And I know Japanese, like, what is this? But they choose to, I just like this place. Scandinavians are here. They're not from poor place. So I don't think that I'm not in the business of fixing no politician, a corrupt politician in my country. For what? I don't have a country, I told you. It was put together by some foreigner. So you're calling something I don't have my country. No, I don't have that allegiance, really. No.
But I think where the benefit lies is that you were able to come here
what is here you're talking about?
America.
Who's America? I didn't think I was going to a Black country. I would have gone to Jamaica.
But the reason
I came to a white man's country. Okay. When I went to the embassy, I saw the United States of America and read about it.
Wait. But the reason a Black man yourself can come here is because of what the FBA's did to make it lawfully possible for you to come here with your $100,000 and go to college. That was not a possibility. That was not a possibility a century ago.
We do not know. There are many countries that don't have slaves. UK is one of them. There are no slaves like African Americans.
So why you ain't go there?
Wait. There are many countries in Europe. They don't have Blacks there.
Right.
But all Africans are there.
Right.
Okay, so who made it possible for Africans to go to those countries?
It's a world of difference, and here's why. And
Thank you. It's a completely different. You trying to compare apples to oranges? Let me let Dave cook.
Why only when it comes to America you're thinking that you made it possible to come? Saudi Arabia.
Hear me out.
I lived in Japan.
Frank,
I got a resident permit for 4 years. I could have asked for permanent residency. Right? They would have granted it to me. Same as in China. There are today 14,000 something of Africans living in China.
Right.
Okay. What I'm saying is, you go to the 46 countries in Europe, you find almost in every one of them that Africans are there thriving, working, doctors, students, and everything.
Right.
It wasn't no Black person that is there to make it possible for them to come. So we can't say that if you were not here, therefore Blacks wouldn't come to America. So that one is not a good point. But you have a question.
No, it's not. It's not even a question. All right. So the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. The 13th probably really doesn't apply to you too much because you were never enslaved, but that abolished slavery. 14th Amendment, just because I want to make sure I get this right, is birthright citizenship, right? Because we were denied rights after slavery, right? The 15th Amendment is voting rights.
Yeah,
the Civil Rights Act that...
I think I got that memo wrong when I said it. I meant the 14th Amendment for birthright citizenship, not 13.
Got put into law was because my people you know, my mother's generation, my father's generation, fought for you to come over here.
No.
No, yeah.
No.
Yes,
They
yes,
fought for
yes.
their freedom. I was never informed, sent any letter in Africa that you should come to America. I'm just telling you, nobody fought for me. You were in a condition you need to fight for your freedom. And so you fought for your freedom.
Benefit from
But you benefit from that.
I've given you an example. There are many places I have lived.
But we're not talking about many places.
Okay?
This is unique
This
for two
is
reasons.
one of them. What makes you think that if you're not here, therefore America wouldn't allow black people to come here? Why did they allow the
Because
Japanese
we
are
were
not
the
white?
ones who fought to
The
make
South-
it. No.
The Southeast Asians are not white.
Frank, you gotta let me rock for a minute, right? So here's what I need you to understand. The reason that it went from the Black liberation movement to
I want to read Speck's comment real quick. He is essentially saying black people globally are incapable of advanced architecture and bureaucracy, including FBA. He is projecting the narrative because Africans can't. Neither can FBAs. Or he's saying, oh yeah, so he's saying he's projecting the narratives that because Africans can't, then neither can FBAs. Exactly. So I've been saying this the whole entire life, that it's a pure projection. It's projection.
the civil rights was twofold. The first one was they wanted to make sure they could shoehorn everybody else in because when folks come here, they contribute to the economy.
Who?
What's up, Sonny?
Okay, when I
No,
say
I mean, who made that the folks should come and contribute to the economy? You mean the white Americans?
the white government,
Okay, sure, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
When that civil rights bill got passed into law, when LBJ signed it into law,
Mhm.
right? After that, you got fat white women being stewardesses on Pan Am, right? You got women had rights, you've got gays having rights, you have people being able to come into this country and have the opportunities that were not allowed prior to us bleeding, fighting, and dying for those rights to be put into law. That is uniquely on us.
Yep, which is why I always speak about this. The feminism, the whole women stuff, white women get those benefits. The LGBTQ, you get it because you gay, but the white gays, and they don't even say the black gays, but the gays, not because you white, black, or it's just the gays, right? The immigrants, it's because they're an immigrant. It's never anything that is specific to us. And if it is something that got to do with black people, when the only group of people who fought for it were black Americans, what do? Minority. Thank you so much, Charlie. Minority. So everybody can get a benefit. Women can get a benefit. The LGBTQ can get a benefit. Everything else can get a benefit. Black and Brown Coalition or Black and Brown. This is the Black and Brown scholarship that we have. What brown person, when they say brown, they talking about Latinos. What did any of these Latinos fought for in America? Color, which includes Asians, Chinese people. What Chinese people done did something to fight for us in America? So all of our hard work always has to get attached to everybody else. This is the problem with black folks. We too damn nice. We too damn nice to everybody else that don't give a damn about us. They love our culture. They love us sometimes sexually. They love everything else about us. But when it comes to us, oh, they will assimilate to whiteness like that. Trust me, they will. I'm just saying.
That we, whether you
They already do. Matter of fact, it's not even that they will. They already do. They just play in your face. People of color. Miss me with the people of color, man. I'm not no man of color. I'm not no minority. None of that. You're not about to dilute me, my nigga, because we can't dilute. I can't dilute with you. Forget all that, man. That's over with. That's been dead. That's been done. And we've been duped for that for too long, my nigga.
benefited from it or not.
What right is that?
The right to come into this country, to come to school in this country, to become a citizen of this country.
Somebody said, Ant, did you know Mexico was a safe haven for runaway slave? Now ask the dark melanated people in Mexico, ask them how they get treated by the Mexicans. And then see if that's still something that you want to say. I'm gonna just let the chat kind of give you some game, because you must not really know about that like you think you know. The dark-skinned Mexicans who are in Mexico right now, it's people in the chat that give you facts. I know Femi is one of them. There's a couple other intellectuals in the chat right now that give you facts of how the dark-skinned Mexicans are treated in Mexico right now. Miss me with that. Respectfully, of course. Miss me with that. Oh, the Mexico was a safe haven. Yeah, all right. Go look up how the dark-skinned Mexicans get treated. And then you tell me if that's still the case and you still want to believe.
Black people fought for civil rights. You are here because of civil rights.
What is civil rights?
That's a great
This nigga don't know what civil rights is.
question, and it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
The right to be able to participate in what the Constitution of the United States provides for everybody. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union established.
I didn't even know that. Mexico just started counting Afro-Mexicans on the census in 2013. I didn't even know that, Red Six. Thank you for giving us some game and some enlightenment. I didn't even know that.
Justice, ensure domestic tranquility.
I'll look that up to see if that's accurate, but if I wouldn't not believe it.
Provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. I mean, it's a long constitution.
I wouldn't put it past
but
it.
in there's a lot of amendments in the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Yeah, so the civil rights simply says that people living here, African Americans who were brought here illegally and forcefully, must have the freedom to participate in everything civic.
Not everybody. You see, that's the distinction that they don't tell you. It's not just about African Americans. They shoehorned absolutely everybody
Also,
else
African
into it.
Americans who enacted the civil rights were thinking about other people. Out
No, we weren't, but that's what the government did with it. That's what I'm trying to
No,
get
I
you
was
to
not
say.
extended any
so-
invitation.
so-
It's not about whether you were extended
Now,
an invitation
you
or
can
not.
make it. You are trying to make it more emotional.
If I buy you a ticket to
than
the
it is
Yankees
that-
game, you didn't
Oh,
buy the ticket, or you didn't ask to go to the
It's
Yankees
like
game, but you're
saying-
sitting in the
It's
stands.
saying
You still benefit.
You still
well, you
benefit
can
from
say
it.
that to
Whether-
make yourself
whether
feel
I
good.
did it-
I don't believe it, and therefore it means
You,
nothing.
whether you believe it or not, I don't
Because
believe that's a camera. It doesn't stop it from recording
As
us.
I've also showed you, there are other countries, 196 countries on the surface of the earth. Out of that, 46 or 48 of them are white countries. You go to any of them, you find us. We didn't wait to see, oh, black people are here waving flags and say, now you can come.
Why the fuck
So-
y'all wasn't here when we was out here getting our ass whipped and hung? Where
Okay,
the fuck
I
was y'all
don't
there?
want to talk about the conditions people face
Oh, come
and what
on.
they fought for. It's one thing, I respect it.
It don't sound
I
like you
acknowledge
respect
it,
You're
but
ignoring
now
it
you're
because
trying
you're
too hard, and
benefiting
this
from
is
it.
what-
You wouldn't be able to walk these grounds.
The rights you have as a black man, regardless of where you come from in America, you are an American citizen, right?
Yes.
You are a
Let's be
American
correct,
citizen.
naturalized American.
You're a naturalized American citizen. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Like that, you became a naturalized citizen because that amendment was fought for by us.
Oh,
so you benefit.
the Southeast Asians who are here.
Same, yes. The South
yeah?
Asians,
Oh, well,
the
then-
Germans,
Oh,
the,
everybody.
Yes,
Exactly.
everybody.
That's what I just said. The Southeast Asians, the East Asians, it don't matter where you from. Anybody, everybody who was able to come over here from another country has benefited from it. The reason we was talking about Chinatown earlier, the reason Chinatown, they have certain Chinatowns all over the country is because of Black America fighting for civil rights for people to come over here. None of these immigrants was here before 1965. We civilized America, and that's the point that people forget. We civilized the country because they was stated this is a land for the equality for all, but it was not. So we had to fight against it. That's why we had certain boycotts and we had certain rebellions. That's why we did certain things. We marched and we protest. We had to civilize these people for them to finally say, you know what? All right, we'll give it to you. And that in turn benefited everyone else to be able to come over to America in droves and have their own little enclaves. The reason why Minnesota is full on South Ethiopians and East Africans and Somalis is because of Black Americans. None of these people would be able to prosper if it was not for us. The reason why you go to places like California, you go to places like Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, why it's a bunch of Latinos, they're able to come over to America is because of us. That's the whole reason why. So, like, this is what we be talking about as far as the benefit. These people don't have no leeway for us though, including him. So it's like, my nigga, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? You can't take your black ass in none of their countries, my nigga. You can't go to Benin and think you finna get some leeway, nigga. They not about to rock with you. What you talking about, nigga? Dude need his ass whooped off stage. Why talk to someone so disrespectful? Frank is just in denial. Douglas Sullivan. Frank is just in denial and jealous of FBAs because we accomplished more in this country than what Africa could ever dream of doing in Africa. It is what it is. And the crazy part is, man, we had so much more like respect and like care and like love for these people if it wasn't people like this. And that's what we had historically, man. When these people came over here and we embraced them. They didn't embrace us. And that's why the pushback is happening now.
then I don't have anything to say about that.
Because
I'm not a scholar on why white American government decided to allow immigration to build
because it was of a financial benefit. It was of a financial benefit.
They have taken. Of course, that is one of the things America did that is so unique from other countries. They knew the land they have taken and the country they want to build. Of course, every country on the surface of the earth builds into its system a form of immigration. Even the most homogeneous, like Japan, they always know what immigration does to a country. And so if you're going to go on telling everybody who is here is because of us, then fine, I won't argue at that. You did.
I mean, my whole thing is
everybody. Then I think
no, but the thing of it is, it's a historical fact that whether you recognize it or not, there is a debt of gratitude to be paid to foundational Black Americans who got their heads cracked in, who got beaten and lynched and had dogs sicked on them. Still happens, you know, where that right would not have been available to you. That privilege would not have been something that you would have been able to have taken advantage of. You would have wound up in Oxford. If it wasn't for that. That's a historical fact. It's not.
I don't know what the government of America, white government of America, had in mind in terms of immigration.
Right, and I don't know. And I think that's why that's important for us to have these conversations because it's about learning both ways. There's certain things that
I know Europeans migrated here.
Sure.
I know Arabs migrated here. Migration is migration. So I don't know. So I can't speak about it. But if you want to take the credit, that's good.
But you understand how Black people was treated in this country, right?
Understand?
It's pointless.
You understand, right?
Giving backhanded.
So you understand how they were treated before we fought for civil rights and.
Hey Sean, thank you for the $10. He said, "This nigga a certified booty scratcher / tether rep." Sean, thank you for the $10 donation, man. Shout out to Sean. Appreciate it. Much love to you, Sean. Appreciate you, OG. Thank you for the donation.
And the right to vote and the right to you understand how Black people were treated before all these laws is passed.
I do not have to.
If you migrated before
somebody is in slavery, well, that alone explains itself.
Right. Yeah. So if you migrated here before
but you're jumping to say because of that, as if other countries don't give immigration. And you haven't proven that other countries don't. If this is solely exclusive to the United States, then I will say you're right. But it's not exclusive to the United States.
No one said immigration.
Everybody knows.
That's a bit of a straw man.
Immigration.
That's a bit of a straw man.
Encourage it.
That's a bit of a straw man.
Because they know that there are many talent and skills. They have to import it, even if it means by force. They bribe. Japanese did it.
But how you think you would have been imported in this country had we not fought for these rights?
What right? Tell me the right.
The right for naturalized citizenship, the right for civil rights. Whether you came, so say for example, you came. Let's pretend that we're on Earth 2, and let's pretend that Earth 2 is an alternate universe, just like us, except for one particular change. And that one particular change is segregation is still in place. White supremacy is the law of the land. If it's white, you're right. If you're Black, get back, regardless of where you come from. Now, let's say that you did apply and you became a citizen. You would automatically be a secondhand citizen, and they would say, "Get your Black ass to the back of the bus. You can't do this, you can't do that." Do you know that when you became a lawyer in this country, up until Black people started becoming lawyers, there was no such thing as a bar exam? They created bar exams to bar us from becoming attorneys. Yes, when we got the right to vote, they started creating things called grandfather clauses. And
they did the same thing with ACTs and SATs too, to try to bar Black people from getting into colleges, even though they was available for it. And that's why they do things like, oh, the ACT scores and the SAT scores are better in the white communities and the Black communities. Yeah, because they underfund the Black schools. So it's not the access of resources and access. Like you still got, if you've been to a Black school, especially me growing up, Black schools, you saw I went to all Black schools growing up, you know. Like the books, it was still books. You know, when you open up a book and it'll have like the person name at the front of the book and it had a year that they had the book. It'd say like I don't know, 2005. Man, I remember a book. It had like 4 pages. It was a book from the 90s. It was like, it said like 96 to 97, and it had a person who had that book for that year. Like the lack of updated books, and I had credit scores. All of this stuff is other ways to just not be able to get Black people to have access to it. All of this stuff, it's all the same.
When we got the right to vote, right. They started creating things called grandfather clauses and poll taxes in order to keep us from exercising those rights. You understand that to be a fact, correct?
I don't know.
Okay, but trust me.
I don't know. This nigga don't know. This nigga don't know nothing. This is what I'm talking about. You sitting here talking and debating something, nigga, and you don't even know, nigga. You don't even know. I don't know. You don't know nothing.
Rights. You understand that to be a fact, correct?
I don't know.
Okay, but trust me, the comment section will tell you that that's a fact.
Okay.
Civil rights, which started off as the Black Liberation Movement, and then COINTELPRO did its thing and gave us civil
Okay,
rights.
so back to you.
No,
Name
no,
the
wait.
right I'm enjoying.
Hold on,
So
I was in the middle of telling you the rights you're enjoying.
Okay.
Civil rights.
Notice how he trying to move the conversation from Dave to them because he know Dave ain't gonna play with him. He trying to move the conversation from Dave to try to talk to them because they may just not know as much as Dave.
Rights gave you the opportunity to be here, take that $148,000 scholarship and sit in a classroom amongst all Americans and make that happen.
You have to show me where that does not happen. If it is exclusive to the United States, please.
No,
If it-
that is not
if it
exclusive
is
to the
exclusive
United
to the
States.
United
You're
States,
straw
because
manning
I
the
lived
argument.
in many places before I
Were
arrived.
black people
If-
getting burnt and brutally killed
Yes.
over those
I
places?
understand.
No. Were they black people shipped over there, burnt, killed, destroyed, and abolished every opportunity they have? Was that happening in those other places first?
You talking about these other places?
Yeah.
The American experience is unique.
Yeah.
you can't compare to these other places.
Okay, there is something you're missing.
I think you're.
You understand?
Hold on, let him.
When you take somebody as a slave, as it happened in Northern Europe, the
Okay.
whole of Northern Europe slaves, right?
Absolutely.
As it happened in Africa between tribes, as it happened in Asia with the Mongols, as it happened in the Middle East with the Ottoman Empire, slaves have been taken. The condition is never something anybody is ever comfortable with. So what you're describing, my head was busted. Yes, you are in a slave condition. They took you and they said you're going to be my slave. Let's not begin to say what they did to me. But you're trying to make an argument that, when slavery was over and I fought for civil rights, it's why you came here. I would buy that argument. I'll bow to you if you told me that was exclusive to the United States, because other countries do not allow black people to go to anywhere, which is not in the case. Now tell me what I'm benefiting.
Again,
No, he said it. Please, go ahead.
I'm telling you
No. Name it at items, please. Just name the item.
that you're benefiting from.
Yes.
The reason that you were able to
No. What is the item? It's a business relationship I have with the United States of America. I brought money. I pay taxes on my money.
the reason you were able to do that is because of
I'm asking you, give me the benefits.
I can't.
Owning a home, nigga, that's one. Owning a car, having a job, being able to have your name as an actual person that says that they're American. He just told you being a naturalized citizen. All of that is specific stuff. What are you talking about? Is he not hearing what I'm hearing?
I can't.
Dave already laid it out.
Exactly.
I can't.
so
I ain't gonna lie. They on some weak. I ain't gonna lie. They on some soft right now. They're not equipped for this. Respectfully, I just don't feel like they're equipped for the conversation. Respectfully, I just don't think they are, because they letting. I mean, come on,
To
man.
do that is because of
I'm asking you, give me the benefits.
I can't.
Exactly.
I can't.
So let
I don't.
Frank, here's what I need you to understand, right? Immigration is not something that is unique to America. No one ever said it was. That's the straw man argument. That's not what I'm on. Here's what I am on. Are you familiar with the Nuremberg laws?
What?
The
This nigga don't know nothing. Oh my god. What?
Here's what I am on. Are you familiar with the Nuremberg laws?
What?
The Nuremberg laws.
Yeah, in Germany?
Yes, in Germany.
Okay.
Do you know where those came from?
No, I don't.
No. See, Hitler went on record.
He don't know
Let's
nothing.
talk about
No.
me
I'm making
and
you got
Black Americans. I just
Frank,
want to clear that. You
have-
give me too many
Frank,
history lessons.
no.
I can verify.
Because you don't
and
know
I'm
the
not going to
history.
follow you because you're not a history expert.
No.
to me.
I'm
Don't
trying-
give me histories that as if you're teaching a high school kid. Just
No,
ask
I'm
me
not
the
trying
question.
to teach
you
a
gave me
high
list
school
of
kid.
questions, and you said
No, now he's being insecure. He's upset at the fact that he doesn't know. That's the true reason. Now he's trying to make it seem like Dave is attacking him. Well, Dave is not attacking you. Dave is simply asking you a question. You're insecure at the fact that you just don't know nothing. And this is about the 8th or 9th time that Dave has asked you something that you should know because you claim to be a historian and educated that you just simply just don't know. And Dave is calling you out on it because he's a lot more of an intellectual and he's a lot more read up than you are. That's simply what it is. So this is what you're saying is you're seeing somebody that's insecure that's now trying to just play the victim,
They're going to
which is typical of a tether.
have this discussion. But to go to Nancy, I wasn't born. I wasn't.
No,
there. I
you're
can't
missing.
Chaos City crashing out.
I'm trying.
the
I'm,
Nuremberg trial. I am asking
What I'm
you to tell me.
Okay,
I'm
whatever
working
he
in
wants
this
to hear.
country.
But look,
What is that one right that you can say I'm enjoying?
okay,
you have the right to be a citizen here, which you would have not
That is
been.
for the Americans. They wanted
Frank,
it, and they gave it to
Frank,
me.
we're gonna
Yeah,
let him.
go
We're
ahead.
gonna let him talk. We let you talk. Let him have his moment.
You have the right to sit down in a classroom and pay for tuition that you would not have been able to do in any place in the United States, with very few exceptions, if it were not for civil rights. That is an irrefutable fact. And the reason I was bringing up the Nuremberg laws is because Jim Crow in and of itself was so bad that Hitler modeled the Nuremberg laws off of Jim Crow. And I'm not trying to give you a history lesson, but there's a lot of history that comes with foundational Black Americans that you do not know that would change your perspective. We came here for this conversation, not so much to try and convince you or you to try and convince me, but to have a exchange of ideas so that you can understand our perspective and we can understand yours. When we had our initial phone conversation, we talked about the importance of people understanding that you are not coming from a place where you're trying to demean people and people are threatening your life, and your team is like, should we call the FBI? And you're like, nah, but this is insane. To the point where when we were talking, you said, well, this group, Foundational Black Americans. I said, no, Frank, it's not a group, it's a lineage.
Right.
That's what it means. What I'm saying,
understand, but please ask me the questions. I don't like the too long because the things you're saying, I can't verify them. I wasn't there. So when you say
Right.
something like that, you're forcing me to say, should I concord and say it's true?
No,
Because
I'm not
you keep
trying to.
saying
I'm not trying to
what
get
I
you
want
to agree.
understand.
I'm
You
trying to
say
give
what
you
I-
things that you can look up later on
And
for
your
your own
accent.
benefit,
Yeah.
so that you can get a better understanding. This is not about
Okay, so
trying
what is
to.
the question now?
Oh, okay, so let me go back to because I asked you and Dave, I want to switch to you because
Yeah.
Frank said he's not offended by the word tether,
Sure.
right? But when you hear the word akata and there's countless amount of words, do you believe those words are to embrace foundation Black Americans or to
Are
do
they
the
like a
polar
derogatory
opposite?
term? Like,
No, but the thing that I think is extremely important is twofold. The first is when you use a term like akata, that comes from institutionalized hate and divisive language that has been spread through media and narrative
Yeah.
that puts us in a certain light, right? That we're lazy. We don't care about
Like
each
the
other.
N word in a
Exactly. It's a nice little code word. For example, I know people that would call us schwatzes. I've known Italians that would call us spictic mulignans. There's a bunch of terms that come up, right? The thing that people don't understand when it comes to the tether word is it's not every single person who is Black who decides to become a naturalized citizen and take the oath. That is extreme ignorance. A tether is somebody that goes out of their way to disparage, disrespect, and not understand the heritage, the sacrifice, and the contributions of foundational Black Americans to the fact that they are here. You are tethering yourself because the average person, we had this conversation the last time I was here, the average person can't tell an African from a Jamaican, from a Ghanaian, from a foundational because they don't have a basis. It's just like many Black folks don't know the difference between a Japanese, a Chinese, a Vietnamese, or a Korean. They don't know. They just put us all in one boat. So
I could tell easily. It's easy to tell.
when you come here, they're just like, you're Black. But our unique distinction is we did fight for the right for Frank to be able to come over here and sit in the classroom, to be a citizen with all of the rights that are imbued in us, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness by the U.S. Constitution. We fought for that uniquely, and that part is unique. Immigration is not unique. Having people come and become naturalized citizens is not unique. But Black people and other people, other marginalized groups who are not white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, being able to take advantage of the same freedoms, the same benefits, the same laws that are inalienable God-given rights according to manifest destiny in the U.S. Constitution is uniquely because of what we fought for. Therein lies the difference.
Do you agree with the term Akata being used in a way to disrespect or harm in a harmful way?
Oh no. You know, so many things happen with that word. Okay, even some of us, if you use the same word in a Ghanaian, one of the Ghanaian languages, or one of the Nigerian languages, on and on and on. It was a movie with Wesley Snipes, I believe, that poisoned that word. Because when he said something in Yoruba language and the guy asked him, what did he mean? He translated to him and said,
A
"He said,
cotton
"You're
picker."
picker."
Yeah.
And then Wesley Snipes swung at him in that movie. I hated the whole thing.
Okay.
But if you go to any of the West African countries, especially Ghana, in the Ewe language of Ghana, your name is Amayibo Yovo, the black white man.
The black white man.
Yes.
Why is that?
That's the name in the airways. That's what they called African Americans.
And is that
What do y'all call the Caribbeans? And why do we have a specific term? What are the Caribbeans called?
You must understand that United States and Sub-Saharan Africa, things that happen, and the people who came and went, Maya Angelou, yeah. The 60s movement was never between Caribbeans and what is it called? Africa. It was between American blacks and Africa. So we came to see more of you. Now, the word gaijin. Does anybody here know the word gaijin?
No.
So gaijin is Japanese word for foreigner. Gaijin. Gaijin is the Japanese word for foreigner. Do you know when you are a foreigner to Japanese?
I prefer to be called a foreigner than
No,
a black
do you know
white man.
when or where they will refer to you as a foreigner?
when you're not born there?
No, what I mean is when a Japanese, anyway, when the Japanese definition of the word foreigner is not when you visit his country.
What is it?
If 4 Japanese come to the United States, they refer to everybody here as gaijin, the foreigners. Because gaijin means those who are not like us.
Okay.
So it's not only when you go to their country, when they are in your country, all of you are gaijin.
Okay.
So you're asking me, why do they call you, the black man white? Well, in Africa, we don't say that skin color is what identifies you with an ethnicity or a tribe or this. We don't. It's more of traits, personality, character. Yes. So if you have lived among the whites and you are from a Western country, yes, you wear the same skin color, but we know that if we interact, we have to learn how do we interact with this person. Okay, you wouldn't go to Ghana and feel comfortable sitting on somebody's lap because the public transport is full and sit on his lap. I don't have any problem with that because we don't have spatial communication. Only Westerners have spatial communication, which means that you don't get to yo. You know, when we were in high school, we hold each other's hands, boys. Here
in high school?
Yeah,
For what?
like walking home.
Okay.
You see what is going through your mind now?
He's like, pause.
I remember my best friend, always we are holding hands. We put hands on each other's shoulder and walk home. Holding
Yeah, I
hands.
mean, but why hold hands though? Like?
You see, you're asking why about some people's culture.
Oh, yeah, it's a cultural difference.
I'm just asking.
Why are you asking why?
I'm asking what's the reason? Like, is there
What
a
do you
reason?
mean reason?
There's no reason. I just
No,
hold
he's
hands.
saying expressing love. That's how they.
I'm just trying to show you that the reason we see you as an American
Right.
is because I can describe it. You couldn't deal with
different
it.
views.
But you can say Black American, not Black white American. Is the disconnect?
But
My friend, I am you see, here is the
no,
problem.
it's a huge disconnect. I am a Black American. I'm not a Black white American. I don't care.
It's a huge disconnect. You are using the word.
You
are disconnected already.
No, you're
When you visit my country, I have to help you understand many things and how to do it. So where is the disconnect? It's there already.
The disconnect is just how you said. You said the Japanese, they have that term, and everybody falls under that foreigner term. It's not. They don't look at Russians and be like, only them are foreigners. The thing is, you're trying, not you, but the culture or the tribe is saying that they have a specific unique name for one set of people in the diaspora that they don't have for anybody else. Like I asked you, what do they call the Caribbeans? Are the
Caribbeans are not living in the white man's country.
So what do they call them?
Huh?
Do they have a name? Are they what are their name?
So this is the confusion, right?
Mm.
Until they say I'm Jamaican.
Mm.
As long as they speak with a different accent in English, we simply would say the same thing until they say, no, I'm from Jamaica. We didn't know about Jamaica and all these things, you must understand. We didn't.
You're still not answering the question, though.
Yes, we did not know about the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
Our high school books didn't teach us about Caribbean. Wouldn't you understand? We thought the people they took from the continent, the first place we all know they went to, that is why most of you came. W.E.B. was died in Ghana. They didn't go to the Caribbean. They all came to. So we had this connection to learn about this group of people. But we know also that when they come to Africa, that the way they carry themselves, what they do, different from us. So they are Amaibo, Yovo, black man, white.
I get that.
Not an insult. No.
Okay.
It is.
But when
It's not what he's trying to say.
it's not.
He's not trying to make it an insult, Jude.
Yeah,
What
no,
he's
he's not. I'm just saying.
It's not an insult.
It's not an insult
See,
because
I can say it until the cows come. You don't understand. I told you from the beginning. If you come to Ghana right now, my Ghanaian family and friends and neighborhoods will drop everything to protect you more than they will protect a citizen. I've seen it.
okay.
But you don't appreciate it. And this is the problem that is causing the disconnect you have to. No,
What
you don't.
what you mean we don't appreciate it?
You don't, because Maya Angelou lived in Ghana for 14 years.
Okay.
What did she write about Ghana? Have you read it?
No.
Exactly. But he can quote me all the way to Nazi. Why didn't you read what she said about living in Ghana for 14 years?
So that means
How about W.E.B. Du Bois, who moved to Ghana and died in Ghana? What he wrote about Ghana, did you read it? No, you didn't. How about the myriads of other academics who moved out of this country to Ghana because Ghana was the black star? You know, Nkrumah was the first person to get independence, so everybody thought, whoa, whoa, whoa. So it became a place when Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X met in the elevator and refused to shake hands, which is what hurt Muhammad Ali until he died in Ghana. So you didn't read anybody who went to Ghana or West Africa what they said about that place. So you wouldn't have a reason, and you are right, to even understand how the people in Sub-Saharan Africa wanted so much. And then we arrive here. And then we have these kind of feelings, so we don't.
Okay, so what I would say is, because I'm a man and a man of honor and respect, I apologize if I was taken.
You're a good man. You're
right?
a good man.
But in the same way, I want you to understand.
Apologize for what?
I'll even go to the minuscule thing of African booty scratch, whatever the case. How young black kids connect. You guys hold hands, right? Till teenagers, you could be 30 years old holding a man's hand, and that's how you bond, right? But how me and these young black brothers, we crack on each other.
Yeah.
You can have a fucking.
That's
you
our
can have
culture.
you can have $1 million, and I'm gonna find a way to make somebody laugh at you. You fucking rich motherfucker, get out of my face. That's what black men do.
It's an African thing.
No, but look, I'm telling you, we cannot distinguish and understand from your culture. I apologize.
Oh no. You're good. You're good.
We have different.
Yeah,
ways.
I'm glad you brought it up because it allows us to know.
When we speak to African brothers and we're cracking jokes at them, they have that disdain for us, but that's how we bond.
Yeah, so what he's saying is, in essence, the term African booty scratcher is just like any other thing. Like when I was a kid, you know, I got called chubby, I got called big head, I got called egghead, all that stuff. I got called Sinbad and Arsenio because I had a high butt. Like that's just part of who we are, because that's not something. What's the word I'm looking for? That's something that's not uniquely ingrained in your culture. It can be a core memory insult to
Or
you,
a sign of disrespect.
or a sign of disrespect when it's actually a term of endearment. It means that you part of the crew.
Good try,
because
good try, but no. The year of return started in 2019 in Ghana.
Yes.
Do you know how many people have gone to Ghana? A lot, including Umar Johnson got a citizenship.
Yep.
Did anybody in Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Togo called y'all by any name as an endearment? You don't call somebody with a name that is among you and you know he doesn't understand. So I understand you've done a good job and I love it.
But you said they call us, what's the word you said for the white black man?
Didn't I tell you it's a cultural? We understand you.
Yeah, but this is what we're
telling you that it's a cultural thing.
Like,
You are considering just because we said white, meaning that anyone who was not born raised in Africa is from a Western country, and we refer to all Western as Yovo.
Right. And there's no offense meant.
But that's a
And
part
there's
of
no
your
offense.
culture, right?
No.
What you mean no? That's specific to you and your culture. That's what you call people that's not from Western
It's
black
not
people,
a
right?
cultural thing. I'm just trying to tell you, for people to understand the distinction and treat this person differently because he's not from here. He's a black Westerner.
Right.
But Western is usually, when you use it, you're talking about European countries.
Right.
So that's it. It allows us to know that this person can do no wrong because he's not from here.
That's a lie.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Look,
That's a lie.
you want to really understand, then you got to refuse to have these conclusions and all that. Steve Harvey went to Ghana. He come back with a big pants on. Did he do a segment to just enlighten anybody here? No, he didn't. And I can go down the list of those of them who've gone there, shook hands with president, and then come back here and don't say anything.
Correct.
Why don't they build a bridge? Why don't they build a disconnect and say, guys, look at the way I was treated, man. I just came here. Look at the way I was treated. Umar Johnson, with his head smaller at the top and big at the bottom, went to Ghana, got a citizenship, and grabbed the microphone asking for, where are my wives at? Where are my wives at? Is that a respectful thing to do in a country that gave you citizenship? We didn't say anything wrong against him. He's walking around making money, calling himself Prince of Pan-Africanism. Do you know where Pan-Africanism is? It's in Africa. He hijacked it. Have you heard any African tell him?
He's talking about Dr. Umar.
Stop it. No. But if I say one thing about African Americans, you are looking down upon us. You are doing this upon us. Let's stop it. Especially for people like us who are more sophisticated.
Oh, trust me.
I came here because he made an impression on me.
Right.
He sent me the question. He said, brother, I'm not going to ambush you. Now, that is unique. This conversation, I wouldn't come from my state, drive here, sit with brothers. I'm coming to look down upon you.
Not at all.
What kind of culture is that you're thinking about me? So I shouldn't criticize. Why? Europe was built faster than any culture. You know why?
What?
It's the only place also you have just countless number of philosophers. None of their books was ever pleasing.
Hey, real quick, bro. Why do y'all feel the need to give everybody in the chat that come with some negativity attention? Like, what are the admins for? If it's like, why do y'all feel the need? First of all, I'm not bringing nobody up today because this is a full breakdown that I'm doing. And I've been on stream for almost 4 hours. Why do y'all feel the need to give everybody attention in the chat who just says something bad about me? I don't care. This is the internet. That is a random nigga talking on a fake page. The difference between me and some of y'all is y'all have to understand how the internet works. This is people that want attention, and y'all give them attention because you keep spamming the same stuff and responding to them. Y'all have admins sometimes for absolutely no reason. Some of my admins, like, clearly I'm not interested. I'm reacting to a live a podcast, and I'm reacting to the show so that we can get some enlightenment. I don't care if a random tether in the chat is talking about me. I don't care. I don't care. So everything doesn't need a response, and everything don't need a rebuttal, y'all. So y'all need to learn. Y'all need to understand that. So for all the admins in here, it's not all of y'all, but for some of your admins in here that keep saying, drop the link, drop the link, drop the link. No, nigga, I'm watching a podcast, and everybody not here for that. No, I'm not doing that. I don't care that a random nigga in my chat wants to get on camera. You're giving him attention. He's on a fake page. No, I'm doing a full breakdown on a reaction right now. If it was another day, sure, but not today. Clearly, I'm not interested, so stop saying that. Stop giving niggas attention. Y'all niggas is tripping, man.
You're too sensitive to criticism.
There's some truth in that.
Let's open the door a little bit.
It's a random nigga. Like, it's a random goofy nigga, probably like 19. That nigga's a little ass kid. Why do y'all niggas give certain people like that attention?
In private,
Stop giving niggas attention, man.
I have been in it. The day you're going to visit Bridgeport, I'm a commissioner. Fair, did you look it up? Fair Rent and Fair Housing Commission. Last month alone, 3 people are prevented from.
It's not all admins. I'm not speaking to every admin. But it's just some of y'all that just keep egging stuff on, bro. Y'all give niggas way too much attention. It's not every single admin. But for the admins, y'all need to, like, y'all need to stop giving that attention. That's all I'm saying. And if you have admin, use it. It's like y'all don't even use it.
Who are they? They're not Chinese or Koreans, African Americans.
Respectfully.
The whole city council is African Americans. My students are all African Americans. There's a guy who looks down upon you.
But what up?
This is the thing. Your sensitivity is not only towards white people; it's always towards us because you misunderstand. I wish you call us African so you can understand. We call you Black Westerner so we can understand you. Anyway, it's all good.
I think we just need to take time to understand the same way how we just tried to explain to you about the African booty scratcher. I understand that you
endearment. No endearment.
Right.
No. The kids wanted someone.
But listen,
they also can laugh at. Look,
listen.
Earth is building.
Listen, as
See, but that's how you're taking it. I am telling you, as a kid that used to get picked on all the time, the dozens is a huge part of foundational Black American culture. Some people call it snapping. Some people call it busting on each other. It's what we do. D.L. Hughley, when he was hosting Comic View, would find people in the audience and be like, "Hey, man, listen, stop that right there. Your neck is too small." Like it's a
because
part of
I
who
went
we
to the
are.
space. It's a comic space, so I would take it as a comic. But if I'm brought to come and speak in a school and kids are laughing and throwing things at you and say, what they have heard,
why do you
they're
think,
out hanging on the trees?
why do you think it got to that point? It started from somewhere.
It started in the schoolyard and then evolved into the comedy club.
So, to your word, I've seen it in my comment section. No, it doesn't at all. I have trained myself.
Yeah.
It's a word the person used.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
What is there to hurt me about this word? And even with the way you've explained it, as long as I know that is never part of who I am, then the person is free to use that word and it will never. And I don't take people off my comment section. I don't. No. If you're going to go out there to speak on a public platform,
You better
be
be
ready
prepared.
that you're going to have people that, okay? And so both those who call me names and those, they are all the same to me. They are all the same.
Right.
I don't differentiate at all among them.
Right.
I do want Ace to ask his last question before we get up out of here because I feel like we can have this conversation for all day, like for sure. Like,
By the way, how many hours?
We had about 2.5.
For real?
Yeah.
I mean, the conversation is flowing.
Yeah, it's good. Go ahead.
My last question: is unity across the African diaspora possible, or are the differences in history, culture, and class too deep for a Black agenda?
If what?
Is unity.
Is unity across the African diaspora possible?
Africa, right?
Yes.
Across
Of the
the diaspora,
diaspora.
meaning
all
African
Black
Americans,
people.
Caribbeans.
Oh, hell no. Never. What is unity? Describe the
Finally, he says something that makes sense.
unity. Show me a picture of what you mean by unity.
Coming together.
Like, no, coming to a conference.
The European Union is together.
No,
Build-
as countries
Yes.
that are autonomous, and because they know that trade and economy would work, because they have something. First, you have to have something to trade for that unity you are asking for. We
Right.
don't have. So what is the unity? Unity based on what?
Why do we need to have something to trade for you?
Then what are you going to unite with?
Because we're
Just bring
Black
your problem
and we're
on top of my
Black
problem?
everywhere.
Every other
Yeah, I disagree with that. I actually agree with Frank on this one. You missed me with all this unity stuff and Pan-Africanism. I'm over that.
culture has.
Well, at least what he said so far. It's the first time I've agreed with him this entire conversation. But yeah, you can miss me with the Pan-African all come together. That's over with. That's dead. That is a dying ideology. It sounds good in theory, but it's not. Doesn't work in reality.
unity.
Show me one culture that has unity, but they have nothing to trade among themselves. No, take a continent, because you're talking about a continent.
Oh, a continent.
Asia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what is the unity? Japan invaded China,
Yes.
colonized Korea, tortured the Philippines, almost went to, okay? So he's hated by many of them, but do you know where Nissan's biggest manufacturing is? It's in China. So
Somebody said, "Do the nigga know his birthday?" It is January 1st, nigga.
okay? They have the best of relationship right now. So show me a continent where people are united only on Kumbaya. So
No,
what
nobody's
is-
saying kumbaya, but what?
Okay, what is it?
Here's the thing, Frank. There is a reason, and if I'm wrong, I apologize in advance.
No.
But there is a reason that you became an educator. There is a reason that you took little boys, not unlike me, over to Africa. There is a reason that you prevent people who look like me and who come from my particular lineage from getting thrown out in the streets. And I'm willing to say that reason is because you care, because whether you understand it or not, and I think that you do, I can't speak for you, but I'll allow you to tell me if I'm wrong, because you still see me as a brother. You still see me as a Black.
Problem is, they don't see you as a brother. They don't. They see you as an asset to get something from. to benefit from. Hence why he don't think that he did anything, that Black Americans did anything, nor does he benefit anything from Black Americans. He's not gonna say it publicly, but that's the whole thing. He can't say it publicly. He has to just continue to reap the benefits off, because if people feel like, get off my rug, if people, start getting hip to the game, then he can't finesse the game no more.
Black man that you care about, because you understand that there is a bigger picture. We're still connected to the motherland. We still have a same ancestral home, do we not?
I don't know.
I think I might be with Frank on this part.
If you're talking
If
about
we're calling, what I'm saying
if
is,
you're talking
Not everybody, not all Black Americans come from Africa.
about the continent, yes, you are from the continent. But when the continent is only known, let me tell you, if I get to the airport in Benin Republic and I bring my passport out, they see my last name, they know exactly where I come from. If the officer there is not from my place, I'm in trouble. He'll treat me like a piece of crap.
right.
And you think that's right?
Happens in Jamaica too.
And you think that's right?
No, he don't think that's right.
It's not a question of right or wrong. I know why he's doing it.
Why?
Because he's in a country that was
Somebody said Frank finally on point. Yeah, finally the nigga making sense.
together by force. He has nothing in common with me except skin color.
Right.
So that gives him the right to treat you like that?
Yeah.
It's
There's
not a
no
matter of
right
giving them the right.
thing
It's
about it.
it's more about that's what they're
Mistake.
going.
He making a good point. He's saying that skin color is not the only thing that you have to connect with people with. And just because somebody share the same skin color as you does not mean that y'all the same. So he can meet with somebody that's, at the, wherever he's speaking about, wherever, the immigration office or the airport, whatever. And they may treat him a certain way because he knows that he's not from his same country or his same lineage. So he's going to treat him differently. There is no unity. That skin color stuff is something that Black Americans need to get out of. We is with this whole skin focused kinfolk stuff. That is dead and done. A long time ago, we should have peeped that. So I'm with Frank on this one. At least so far, he's saying stuff I agree with.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of giving them the right. It's more about that's what they're going to
Mistake
do.
was for us to accept the country and think we can run it when we have nothing in common. So one country has nothing in common. Now let's talk about the unity.
Right.
What is the youngest country in the world today?
The youngest.
So only about 14 years old. South Sudan.
South Sudan, yeah.
South Sudan and Sudan, one country. Okay? Black people of the same lineage and same skin color. But they couldn't like each other. Danny Glover and George Clooney and some celebrities made it possible. They said, yeah, we want to cut off. And they cut off. As we speak in Nigeria, Mr. Nnamdi Kalu is asking for the Igbos to cut away from Nigeria. There's another Yoruba man who is asking for the Yorubas to cut off. In Cameroon, as I speak, the Tom tribe of Cameroon, under the French section, is asking for them to secede. This is going on in the country and you're asking for unity?
So you saying because the continent of Africa is not unified, then we can't have a global unification of the Black diaspora?
But what are you unified around?
Right.
That's something we could build. What is the purpose of Pan-Africanism if you're saying that unity is
There is no purpose of it, bro. That's the point he trying to make.
possible?
But you said it as if I believe in Pan-Africanism. It's the most
Exactly.
stupid, bogus thing ever anybody to even say.
Exactly.
You spoke about worldview earlier, right? So what if our worldview was to uplift each other?
Whose
Black-
worldview?
Black people.
Which black people?
All
of
black
us.
people.
No, there is no such thing. You can't go to Asia and say all Asian people.
Right.
But why not?
I am telling
Because it's delusional, nigga.
you, this is the mistake. We are the only ones who walk the earth, and as soon as you see a black person at the airport, oh, brother. No, I'm not your brother.
Facts. Finally.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Have you gone to Europe and you heard an Italian man calling a German brother?
Fuck them. What's wrong with me seeing you at the
This
airport? And
is
say,
the problem.
you gonna have to explain it to me then.
He's true.
Okay,
He
Let
right.
me ask you. Let me tell you something. The story
Cook Frank. Cook Tether.
of Chaka the Zulu.
Shaka Zulu.
What was he? What was he famous for before they killed him? Tormenting fellow black tribes in that region.
Okay.
So that's the man you're going to unite with?
No.
Okay. I'm just telling you. We think that skin color makes you and me the same. We're not. I am from a small tribe called the Ajat tribe in Benin. Benin is only 6.5 million people with over 40 tribes. When I say tribe, I mean the language is like French and Chinese. I don't have anything in common with the 49 other people in my country. Nothing in common. They speak a different language. They have a different God, a different religion, different food, different forms of wear and culture, traditions and customs. We were forced, carved and say, remain here. He's not my brother. Now you're asking for a global brotherhood of all black people. Why would the black people be different from any continent? Europe is a global community of white people, but they don't go around saying brother and sister. Asia is a community of all yellow Asians in Asia. They don't go around calling each other brother and sister. Same with the Middle East, same with everywhere. Where only when it comes to black people you think we are all the same. We're not the same.
Oh, okay. And look, hold on, really quickly. This is why FBA was announced, because once you guys acknowledge us as colored people, right? And then it went from that to African Americans. We embrace our brothers and sisters that was on the other side, right? And getting shitted on, and people with selfish mindsets, not thinking like how we're thinking, like let's connect, let's adapt to each other. When you get frowned upon, now this is why Black Americans, Foundation Black Americans, say, okay, I don't want to be a part of what African American stands for, because I'm not African American. They clearly, okay, then that's where the conversation comes in.
Right
okay,
there.
but look, but then you go with, oh, so what is this Foundation of African? You guys was African American. Well, it's like, why would I want to be African American if I know that you guys?
Who is you guys African American?
Well, the people that look at African Americans as if you're not African American unless you know what tribe you're from, what else, unless you didn't read
I'm not African American.
No.
No, but what he's trying to
Technically, you are African American because you're an African immigrant who left Africa and came to America. So literally, by definition, you are an African American. I'm not an African American. That would be you, sir.
I got you. Okay. So you have to remember, when it comes to their show, they have a lot of people throughout the diaspora, a lot of women who come up here and they will say things like, well, you guys don't know who you are. You guys don't understand where you are. You guys don't understand your culture because you don't even have a language. You can't tell me where you're from. And they're like, oh, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Philly. No. You from Africa, but you don't know what tribe. You don't know this, that, and the third. So you're not really African American. Y'all are lost. Y'all are lost people. Like, that is you could just taking their show as a case study. You could pick any random episode and find somebody saying something along those lines.
Yes.
None of that does anything.
I see.
For things. And
let me explain something. So the term African American is correct. It's Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Cubans, Afro-Americans. The Afro, you can make it African. I am not African American. Because I'm from Benin.
Right.
So I'm a Beninois American. Obama is Kenyan American.
Right.
You are African Americans, which means I can look at you and trace that you are from the continent, except that I can't trace which specific tribe. That's why we use the continent as a whole as a prefix to your current nationality.
So would you call somebody from Haitian, Afro-Haitian, or Afro-Jamaican, or Afro-Trinidadian?
Now, very good point. You see, those who live in the Caribbean, they are homogeneous by skin color and they don't have any mix of people. So you just call them Jamaicans, Haitians. You don't say Afro. But Brazil is not originally all black Caribbean country. It was Portuguese, and then they took blacks there. So to differentiate, you say Afro-Brazilians. Yeah. So that is the difference.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I look at you, I say, oh, wow, these are brothers and sisters who once could have belonged to. Now, I bet you, if the African Americans who came here had been able to trace their tribes, their country, that kind of thing, oh, you wouldn't look at me and say, I'm a brother. No.
I'm telling you, without that information, I want to call you a brother.
Oh, no, I totally admire it.
Yeah.
I admire it because I know it's a very endearing word.
That mentality is the exact reason why so many Black Americans in the position that we in. That mentality right there. You are my brother because we share the same skin color. Boy, y'all lost your mind.
Americans use here to show that we are in a struggle together. Okay, I understand that.
We're unified to build together. So I think you're looking.
Okay, so that is what he was saying.
Right.
He said something was interesting, that I educate for a reason. I do.
Yeah.
I also uneducate. Meaning there are certain promises we are being given. It's just diverting us, and it's not going to happen. You're not going to have a Pan-Africanism. That is one. It is only for groups of people who are thinking that there's a reason they can't build South Africa. So now you're looking to join because misery loves company.
Don't let Dr. Umar hear you say that.
Hey, we got. I don't know if that's a glitch, but it seems like we got 35K in the chat. I don't know if that's accurate. But if we do, say 37K now. I don't know if that's a glitch or that's accurate, but I don't know. If it is though, shout out to the people in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. Make sure y'all hit the like button for me, and donate to the live, man, if y'all can.
So no, I don't believe in Pan-Africanism. It was created after. Okay, Kwame Nkrumah made it popular, but even though it was created a long time ago, Kwame Nkrumah, and why was it created here? It makes sense because when you are in captivity outside, you long for the people there.
Oh, they saying that's not a glitch, it's real. Damn. Yeah, we got 35. We only got 40K people in the chat right now, man. That's crazy. I appreciate y'all being here, man. We definitely done broke the record. I think the most we had before was 12,000 with the Charlie Kirk situation. So I appreciate y'all being here. Angela, thank you for the $22. Angela says, Lioness. Oh, she didn't say nothing. She just sent $22. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the $22. $23. We gonna put that at 23. She said $22.99. Thank you for the $23 donation, Lioness. I appreciate that. What was I at? Damn, I just forgot where I was at. I think I was at 47. Okay. Thank you for the $22 donation, Lioness. Y'all show love to the live, man. Hit that like button, man. Donate to the live. Make sure y'all subscribe if y'all new. We got a lot of people in the chat right now, so I appreciate y'all being here. Let's keep this going.
You know, you remember the song By the Rivers of Babylon.
Yep.
Here we sat and we remembered Zion, even they don't know. So you are remembering Zion. So it's fine for you to have that need to say, look, if I can only connect with my people. But
we got 42K in here. Hit that like button for me, man. Make sure y'all subscribe.
That unless you and I, one-on-one, we decide on how we want to relate, there is nothing common and natural that is going to make me and you ever understand each other easily as an African American and I. Impossible.
Well, do you think that we're intentionally divided? Intentionally divided? Black people?
No.
Get up. Get off my rib.
Africa from African Americans?
No. It's just natural because we don't have anything in common, man. We're not intentionally divided. What do you mean? You were intentionally separated by being taken away from the continent.
Frank's finally making sense, man. Finally.
No, you are asking for a unity with Africans on the continent. We have huge problems of our own. Curable diseases we can cure. Okay? All right. Inside the United States, the African Americans themselves don't get along. Yes. Crime and killings in Chicago, Baltimore, LA, Detroit, you name it. In Bridgeport. You know, I'm the gun violence director for my city. So you go to New Haven, Hartford, Waterbury, and Bridgeport. And we don't shoot Asians and white, we shoot each other. Now, when are you going to even fix that to unite in the United States of America first and say, now we can look towards the continent? When we are divided over there, we can't. There's better chance you guys can unite here than we can ever dream. No, don't be fooled by that. And don't let anybody who comes here tells you anything flowery about the continent as if we have accomplished anything. No, we haven't.
I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Africa is the lack of unity. I think once the Berlin Conference happened and they started putting these invisible borders and created all these countries, you go in and you conquer Africa because everybody is so segregated. Then you got things of, y'all don't have racism over there. Y'all created your own form of racism called xenophobia. Like y'all don't even experience racism, but y'all needed to create some system to divide each other. So y'all created xenophobia. You discriminate against somebody because y'all from a different country. You see them as an enemy. It's no different from gang violence. These are the people that look like you and they don't respect or want to unify. They see each other as the enemy. That's the issue.
I'm telling you, when Frank talks about African American, he points also onto the continent. You have missed the similarities I'm trying to display. It blew me away when I arrived here, man. I'm telling you, when I arrived here, I was yearning for some black women. I mean, I've seen them in movies like Sisters are fine, not the fat ones on the continent. Okay? Until I got here and I said I can't. I can't, and I'm telling you the truth. I can't. Your African Americans are impossible.
So you wouldn't date an African American woman?
He said he married one. His first wife.
Okay.
Seriously, I'm being honest, man. Because as soon as I walk in here today, I knew I would speak freely.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay? And I'm telling you, I don't take anything against African Americans. Come to my city and see me and African Americans, man. Every Father's Day, cards are coming in from all my students. They call me dad. I'm a surrogate to 3 different African American kids who didn't know their dad. I was an MC yesterday. I have to take one with me. But I'm not fooling them that it's because I love you and I want to connect and I want to unite. No, because my worldview, as I was raised in my tribe, as my grandfather explained it to me, as an Aja man, that's my tribe, okay? When you step outside here, anything in front of you, find a way to embrace it. Find a way for that thing to have part of you. So everywhere I have lived, that worldview is the reason I am a human being, because that's what I believe. So when I went to Japan, it took only 3 months. I started feeling, uneasy because language difference, everything. So I went to my landlord and I said, where is the community center? They call it Kominkan. He said, what do you want to? I said, I want to study Japanese. And he took me. And I said, I would teach English. Because there were housewives, plenty, right? And homeowners. And foreigners were coming to Japan back in the early 90s and late 80s. So they all embraced it. They thought I was being kind. No, that is me being driven to say, I need to form oneness. Now I am here. And that is it. Next town was asking for me. Next town, I became very popular. I have breakfast with the mayor almost every weekend. As soon as I arrived in Bridgeport, yes, I could have left and gone to California. I could have gone anywhere. But I have been, a board member of the International Institute of Connecticut. I've been on 2 different mayors' board, youth development board. I form my own. It's me just picking something in front of you, because that worldview, my culture says, everywhere you live, if you don't make yourself part of that place, you are not fully human, and your success is limited. So that drives me for community service.
Again, I do want to cut the conversation here because we've been here for. Our editor is probably upset at us right now. Like, I gotta do yeah. But again,
This is
I
the
do.
longest episode.
All right, that's the end of that. Yeah, I've been on for a little minute, y'all. I'm about to call it. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all coming through.